Hey everyone, and welcome back to a Warp Zone episode where we take a look at some of the biggest current gaming news, generally focusing more around the Nintendo Switch. And you know what? It feels like it's been forever that we haven't sat down and chat. I know I only missed like 1 week last week, but it was coming back from like a 2 3 week break, and it feels like it's been forever. Like it just feels like obviously I streamed and I gamed, but the vibe's always a little different when you're gaming. Like obviously I can engage with chat, but at the same time I have to be playing the game, so I sort of missed just sitting down, chatting, having some fun, taking a look at the news, talking about everything that's going on. And I'm really glad that, we're back. And like I said, last week it was really just a fluke of way too much stuff piling up right away. Yeah, I know everyone loves this t-shirt. I love this t-shirt. It's one of my favorites since I got it. Like, let's be honest, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is awesome. Like I said, there's only one problem. Casey Jones was not in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and he's in the shirt. Although we could say that it's like a combination of the two of them, because this is Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, but Toka and Razor are on it from the 2. And then you've got Casey Jones from the 1. So I'm just starting to say that it's like a mashup of 1 and 2 for it to sort of make sense completely. Um, I think there's no way around it. There's no other way around it. So yes, Topaz is already here. Topaz is settled down on me. I'll try to back up enough so that you guys can see her. So hopefully she'll stay settled. But Topaz is already with us. She's in her designated spot on my legs. I feel like the camera looks fine, right? No, it's a little high. Tilt it a bit down. You guys can see the mess on the floor a little bit better. Oof. So honestly, do you guys realize we're officially today 1 week away from 1 week, oh my god. 1 month away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2? Today is officially 1 month from the Nintendo Switch 2. Well, no more 8BitDo. We're going to get into the story. Obviously, I had to make it fit in the space I have for a YouTube title. It's not as clear as no more 8BitDo, but yes, 8BitDo will be probably very hard to get in the US over the next little while. But we'll be talking about that. Hopefully, it's something that's going to get settled eventually. I also want to introduce you guys to something new on the channel, a newcomer to the channel that we've been waiting for a long time. A while ago, I used to always drink from my Cheers mug, my beer from my Cheers mug. My Cheers mug is dead. I'm very sad. It was a real Cheers mug from Cheers in Boston that I picked up when I went there. They weren't selling them, like the actual mugs that just said Cheers so I actually asked my waiter if I could steal the mug, and he said yes. He's like, yeah, just take it, bro. And I took the mug. So I officially stole a Cheers mug, and I'm so sad that after 13 years it died. So I had to find a replacement, and I decided to go big or go home. So I introduce you guys to the 1 liter beer mug that I now own, that is going to hold my beer in probably most or all future streams. And it's perfectly sized because I'm not going to have to go back for refills most likely on any streams anymore. And it's just perfect for putting in the freezer too. Like this one I put in the freezer for tonight. Only problem is it really takes like, I can drink it one-handed, but just to make sure that I'm not making a mess, since I am around a lot of electronics, I feel like I have to go two-handed. Like, I can do it one. It just makes more sense with two. Yeah, I know. Seriously, it's like bicep workout at the same time, man. Dude. And I've already started. There's an official 1 liter line, by the way. There's like a line here that says like 1 liter of beer. So I had it up to there. I already got started for tonight. If you ever go to like Europe, Germany, I'm sure they have some other places, but like in Germany, if you go to like a Hofbrauhaus, which is like the big beer places, you can buy beer by the liter. I've been a few times, and I used to buy beer by the liter, or the I'm trying to remember what it's called, but they sell like half Coke and half beer, or half Seven Up and half beer, for people that are like lightweights. But they sell it by the liter, so it is what it is. But yeah, because for anyone that doesn't know, I am a quarter German. So my mom is half German, half Canadian. So I'm quarter German, even though you can really not tell by my physique, my perfect specimen of a Latin physique. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna start by saying hi to the people in the chat since it's been a while. Of course, I have Spetzel. My grandma and my aunt used to make Spetzel. I'm saying used to because unfortunately both of them are starting to get very sick. Like they're very old. They're getting very old, and they're starting to get very sick. So they really can't cook anymore their classic meals. I have to actually get my aunt's Spetzel recipe soon. That and her gnocchi. I have to get those beef. Anyway, it is what it is. But I have to get those recipes from her. So hey Nanaki, hey Squirrel, hey Needless Dragon, hey Frenchy Mom. I'm switching the subject, by the way, because like I don't want to think about that stuff right now. We're happy, we're having a good time. Let's not get down and stuff. NDJ Dragon, welcome, my man. Hand Patter, welcome. Champ Dancer, welcome as well. Dimple, each time you tip the glass. I drink down a full dimple. Holy crap, the dimples are really freaking big on this mug. To be totally honest with you, though, they're huge ass dimples. I get what you're saying, and I know it is, but like the dimples are actually freaking huge on this mug. But to be honest, I usually I can tank normally. Like I tank pretty hardcore when I need to. So I actually dose it when I'm on stream to not tank too hard. But I used to play rugby, man, so we had to hit das boot every time we made a try, and we got pretty used to chugging. Thank you, my man, Champ Dancer. Yeah, we addressed the shirt. One of my favorites. One of my definite favorites. But yes, so let's actually talk about the news that we're going to be covering tonight. So we're going to start up with a couple of little updates because we did get a few new trailers to some pretty interesting content that I want to take a look at. We're going to talk about Silksong probably getting the first ever outing for people to play in a museum of all places, which is something that is actually really fun and weird. We're going to be talking about a situation that is hitting 8BitDo, and I unfortunately think that it's going to be the first of many. But we're going to be talking about that over the next little bit. So if you need 8BitDo products, I would say if you've been holding off for the little bit, I would no longer hold off, like unless you're really strapped for cash and you know it's a problem. But if you've been holding up out for like that Ultimate 2 or something like that, I would say right now is the time to get it. Obviously, we're going to be addressing one of the biggest stories of last week, which is Xbox raising prices. A lot of people are actually blaming Nintendo for that. I find that's a totally ridiculous way of thinking. And there are factors that are playing into this which have nothing to do with Nintendo. Like Nintendo raising prices on the games was most likely something that was inevitable. And we're talking about like hardware prices primarily as well. And that is totally due to, the worldwide situation. Then we're going to be taking a look at Grand Theft Auto 6 getting delayed. That's more like of a announcement. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. We're going to be talking also about Nintendo suing Genki. We're going to be looking at the Switch 2 GameCube controller, which should be... some people might have gotten invitations already. I don't know why Nintendo didn't send me mine. I'm still waiting, but what the heck. And then we're going to look at what games are getting free upgrades for the Nintendo Switch and which ones you think we should be playing on the channel. So that's going to be like an interactive section. I'm going to want a lot of input from everyone to know, like, what games should we actually try to explore when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out? Because I think, like, out of the 12 games getting free updates, I have like 10 of them. So there's only like 2 I don't have, and I think there are 2 that I really don't give a crap about. So like, even if people would want to see them, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not playing those, like, I'm not wasting my time on those games. And we're also going to be looking at a little PSA announcement, just in case your Switch got bricked after the latest update. Well, Nintendo fixed that, but you do need to do something a little special to be able to re-update it again. So we're going to be talking about that. Okay. Genki shouting out Jake Randall. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna be getting to the Genki stuff. We're gonna be talking about it. Actually, also, there's actually a story I wanted to add. Hold on, let me see if I can find an article covering it, because this actually just happened today at like 4 p.m. here, 4 p.m. Eastern, regarding GameStop. It's because with people talking about GameStop. Yeah, we have the return of EB Games in Canada. The return of EB Games. Something pretty big that is probably going to be affecting me directly, because I mean, I still go a lot to GameStop because it's my old EB Games. And like it's pretty funny, because when it happened, like the employees got an email about half hour before it was announced, and the manager of the GameStop messaged me on Messenger to say, dude, we just got sold to a new person who's bringing back EB Games. And I was like, holy crap. Like, as soon as I got off of work, I called him, and we chatted for like 5-10 minutes, and I was like, holy shit, man, I hope my Switch 2 pre-order is safe. And he's yeah, it's all in the press release, don't worry about it. I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Did I forget Frenchie Mom? Did I forget Frenchie Mom when I was calling everyone out? I think I did. If I did, I'm so sorry, Frenchie Mom. And once Kilos, you've joined the party. Welcome. Okie dokie. I think it's about time. Let's get started on the stories. Okay. Let's switch over before we have too much fun. And my background is actually very fitting for one of the announcements today. So first of all, I did want to take a look at a trailer that we just got, because guess what? Sea of Stars Throes of the Watchmaker DLC now has an official release date. And guess what, guys? It is 2 weeks away. Like, in 2 weeks, the DLC is actually going to be available. So if you're a Sea of Stars fan, as I am, brush off your old copy of the game. Get ready to experience some new gameplay, because yes, we are getting more DLC for the game. Now, let's take a look at the trailer really quick, and then we will talk about it even more.
You dare enter Horloge?
Horloge? It's funny because this is a Quebec studio.
All dance to my command. Your powers will not work here. How about something more fitting? Tickets are free, but there's no getting off this ride.
Hold on, the closed captioning is annoying the crap out of me.
I know your secrets.
And this game is beautiful. I'm sorry, pixel art wise, this is top-notch pixel art.
Darker traits consume you. Oh, you
Yeah, it's always looked incredible. Nah, man, it has to be turn-based. And I get the people that don't want it to be, but I'm glad it's turn-based. I'm not saying that everything needs to be turn-based,
the ovation will show
but I'm glad that both things exist, like action and turn-based.
malevolent spectacle awaits.
And there we have it, boys and girls. It is coming out on May 20th. And I respect that. I respect the action RPG. I'll be honest with you, I'm a guy that I go through moods. If sometimes I'm in the mood for turn-based, sometimes I'm in the mood for action. I would say that to me the best is the the generation of Final Fantasy between like Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 10 were my favorite for that blend of turn-based but with that, with the timers where you still couldn't just sit around and do nothing for like 15 minutes. To me felt like the best of both worlds. Yeah, I know I forgot 9. 9 did no, you're right. 9 had a system like that too. It's just that in my mind, like 9 felt because of its art style like a old school turn based. But you're right, it had, but and I respect that. The thing is that I don't think one genre has to overtake the other. I think both genres are important and both genres have their fans. And I think that's been proven over time because look at Square Enix and Final Fantasy. They've gone too far down the action road and they've lost their core audience. They need to bring it back. They need to bring it back to what the core audience that was buying Final Fantasy loves and is there for. I would say even Final Fantasy 12 to me was a touch too far. I found it like a touch too far for my taste, but it was still like palatable for me. Can we look at Claire Obscure Expedition 33? Well, we're not going to look at it tonight, but like I'm open to the idea of playing it eventually. It's just that I'll be totally honest. I have no time right now to play anything that's not directly related to Switch because like I really need to get stuff done for Switch and with Switch 2 coming up, I really don't think I'm going to have time with the limited schedule I have to talk about like PlayStation and other titles. I'm still hoping it gets a release on Switch 2. You know what I mean? I'm still hoping it gets a release on Switch 2, which could be something that's going to happen. That would be freaking amazing. Then, obviously, we're going to play it. No questions asked. No, I don't have any news on the new James Bond 007 coming out. Unless I missed a piece of information, I didn't see anything major that I saw. Yeah, small studio, so maybe next year. Exactly. I'm thinking they weren't in the loop with Nintendo to get this title out on a day one thing. So they're probably going to be working with like dev kits, like, they probably got their dev kits in like one of the later batches if they do have a Nintendo Switch 2 dev kit, just because the team wasn't big enough before this game to deserve getting like an early dev kit or whatnot. But yes, so for anyone waiting for the DLC, I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Some people were asking if we knew a date. Well, the answer is May 20th. I said it was this summer because I remember now I had heard from some inside information that it was coming very soon. I didn't have the date either. And I couldn't remember back then what it was, but I didn't know the date, but I knew it was supposed to be soon. And I'm glad that overall they actually came out with the official date and we're going to have it in about 2 weeks. So basically not that's like Tuesday in 2 weeks. But definitely a top-notch little add-on for anyone who has Sea of Stars. Definitely keep an eye out. Number 2, one of I'm still fighting that cough, guys. It is actually insane. I'm 3 weeks into fighting this cough. And like I said, what's really weird is I feel top notch for everything else except the fact that I cough from time to time. And it's exacerbated when I talk a lot. So obviously that's a bad mix for being live on stream. So we need to fix that with some beer. Okay, but yes, getting to what I wanted to cover next is we got a new trailer showing us some more of Shinobi Art of Vengeance. One of my top games for this year. Like, look, okay, new Mario Kart, amazing. New Donkey Kong, amazing. They're not in the same category, but if we're talking about just excitement over a classic franchise coming back, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, excuse me once again, is top on my list. And we got to look at some more gameplay, so I do want to take a look at it with all of you tonight. Give me 1 second. You know, when it comes out, you just gotta let it out. And I was fighting it, trying to give these little coughs. You know what? I just had to mute the microphone, let it out, one good shot. Now we should be good for a little while. But yes, so I want to take a look at the trailer for the new gameplay that we got for Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Game is looking amazing. It is seriously looking amazing. It has, just like they did with Streets of Rage 4. I don't know how they do it, but it feels like Shinobi. Like if you've played like the old Shinobis, this game just, you immediately know it's Shinobi, but at the same time, it feels very modern in its take. I'm gonna watch it there, actually. I have it on a couple of different screens. Like, man, I'm trying to think of the games the art style are reminding me of. Like, obviously, you can see some Streets of Rage 4. Like, they're going for the same overall type of cel-shaded, like, approach that they did with Streets of Rage 4. But at the same time, like, you know what? It actually, they make it feel like a Capcom game. Like, if I'm looking at this, if I didn't know it was done by a different studio, I would think this game was done by Capcom. But like old school Capcom. Do you guys get what I mean? Like old school Capcom. It has that same vibe as what's the I have a blank with the dog, you know, the mystical dog game there that oh my god. You guys know I'm freaking terrible with titles once again. The one that was out on Wii, Okami, thank you. Yeah, it gives me definite Okami vibes. That's what I was, that's the name I was looking for. It gives me definite Okami vibes. Like, if I didn't know it wasn't them, I would have thought this was like a old school Capcom game. It's insane. Yeah, Frenchie Mom took the win there. Champ Dancer, you got beat out, man. I said my beer's going to last all stream, but at this rate, it is definitely not going to last all stream. I can't believe I need more than a liter of beer per stream. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. But yeah, so Digital Deluxe Edition, Ghost Outfit, Medic Light Amulet, Digital Art Book, 2,000 gold. Like, I'm not sure I agree with this, like, cheating stuff, like giving the gold and the Medic Light Amulet and stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. And the 3 days early play, man, they've got to stop with the early release stuff. Look, I love Shinobi Art of Vengeance. The principle of this game coming out is amazing, but please stop with the early plays. Like charging more to play 3 days early. I'm like, it just needs to not stop happening. Rick, you need to cover grips for the Nintendo Switch too. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, I will. We're going to be doing a lot of hardware stuff. I do plan on doing a lot of hardware stuff, guys. There's going to be probably a lot of channels doing a lot of hardware stuff. But like I said, that's why I'm trying to budget as much as I can on the Switch 2. Like, you know, I'm not buying any Switch 1 games currently. Like, I'm working on review codes and stuff, but I'm actually toning down my Switch 1 purchases because I want to go all out for the channel on Switch 2 when it comes out. I told you guys already, I want to do a headset review. I need to really get that shit done because I do want headset reviews for the Switch 2 ready because that's going to be a big player this time around, guys. People are going to be looking for headsets, and from a health of the channel perspective, that is something I want to do because it's somewhere where I think we can differentiate ourselves from the masses out there. Like, obviously the deal videos are always going to be there, but I am going to have to switch up the formula a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting back into 3 videos a week, but the reason why is because I'll be honest with you guys, when the Switch 2 arrives, most likely one of the Switch 1 videos is going to disappear to be a Switch 2 video, where we're most likely going to have to follow the deals and stuff on the Switch 2. Obviously, though, we might need to wait like a month or two for games to actually come out other than the main games and for sales to start happening. So there's going to be like a delay to that, but most likely, I feel like the $2 videos no longer going to be a thing once Switch 2 comes out. And I'm going to just fold that into the under $5 video, and that third video will become like the Switch 2 deals. And obviously, over time, you know, Switch 2 will most likely overtake Switch 1. Obviously, right now, I don't think we're going to be doing like Switch 2 under $5 with Switch 1 under $5 and blah, 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 because I don't think any, specific Switch 2 games are going to be under $5 for quite a while. Obviously, there's going to be Switch 1 games that run on Switch 2 that are, but no specific to Switch 2 games. Okay, by the way, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. We have 16 people in here. We have 7 likes. There might be some haters out there. That's fine. You don't need to. But if not, I need to see a few more likes, okay? Okay? I'm just messing with you guys. But I would appreciate them. I would appreciate them. Hey, Unicron, my man. How you doing? Welcome back. Well, welcome to the stream. So, those were the 2 little trailers I wanted to show because gameplay for Shinobi is looking better and better each time. And on top of it, DLC for Sea of Stars, to me, is a big, big thing of notice. We've been waiting for it for quite a while, and I am glad to see it's actually coming out like so soon. Okay, now let's get into the real stories for tonight. And we're going to start with Hollow Knight Silksong, that apparently will be playable starting in September 2025 in an Australian museum. Pretty freaking insane. And this story is brought to us by IGN. Now, IGN has revealed that the Hollow Knight Silksong will be playable in an Australian museum in September 2025. Funny, that just what they said in the title. Team Cherry's long in development game is one of the most anticipated in the world and has topped the Steam wishlist charts for years. The studio, which is based in Adelaide, South Australia, has yet to say when Silksong will be released beyond a vague 2025 window. But we at least know it will be playable for those who can be at Australia's National Museum of Screen Culture, the ACMI, from September 18th. Now, to me, this feels like some kind of shadow reveal of the release date. I can see this being exclusive to the museum for maybe like a month. But after that, it's going to start getting weird. It's going to start getting weird, and I can see people fighting to get to play the game in the museum. I can see people showing up at the museum and trying to finish the game in the museum, not giving it up. So I don't know how they're going to handle access to the game. I feel like they're going to have to be pretty strict on it, because if not, you're going to get some crazy ass people. You're going to get some crazy ass streamers flying to Australia to do some stupid things, which is something I am like, personally, I hope they thought of. Like, if they haven't thought of this, they better get to thinking about it pretty freaking soon. Because there are people that are like insane enough to do that kind of shit. To like say like, hey, I'm not leaving the museum till I beat Silksong. You know what I mean? Or like actual streamers flying over and shit, and just to play the game ahead of time. Now, it could also be that the game will be out by September 18th. You never know. We don't have a release date. Maybe the game is coming out like September 1st, and then September 18th, it's going to be featured in the museum. And like I said, this was like a shadow reveal. You never know what could happen. If that's the case, then they won't have to worry about that whole craziness at the museum stuff. But if not, I really, really hope they thought about that. So, Silksong will be playable at the Melbourne Museum as part of the game exhibit called Game Worlds, which will also include displays that delve into the game's design and artistic direction. And honestly, I'm extremely looking forward to this game. And I've seen these. This is actually the sprite sheet for the main character, and it's pretty insane because I saw some people already putting the animations of the game together from the sprite sheet here, that basically you can see all the way here. But let's finish really quickly. So the ACMI co-curators Bethan Johnson and Ginny Maxwell commented, since Hollow Knight Silksong's initial announcement in 2019, it has been one of the most anticipated indie games on the planet. And we're thrilled to celebrate the design of this South Australian-made game as a centerpiece of Game Worlds in September. From the hundreds of sprites that animate Hornet's different movements and attacks, to the logic behind the game's most challenging boss fights, and of course, having the game playable in gallery. Like, if the game is playable, it should be pretty much in a release state. Hey Rick, I'm doing a lot better. Thanks for asking. I'm really looking forward to my special day being shared with Aesop Rock and the Nintendo Entertainment Switch 2 release. Awesome, my man. Awesome. I'm glad to know that you're doing a lot better, my man. Really, 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 really glad. So we're grateful to Team Cherry for trusting us with their work, and so excited to share that work with you. As part of the announcement, ACMI shared a sprite sheet from Silksong below, one of several design elements from the game that will be on display in the Game Worlds exhibition. The game was provided, the image was provided to IGN with permission. And here we have the sprite sheet, which is actually pretty insane. It is a pretty massive sprite sheet. Just to say, like, if you've seen sprite sheets before, like if you look at classic retro games, and I know this is a different class of game, but if you look at classic sprite sheets, sometimes you have like 6 sprites for, like, like, let's say early Mega Man. I'd have to check, but his sprite sheet is like something like 6 or 8 sprites at max. It's pretty insane to see how many sprites make up a like more modern animation, and I'm pretty sure this is not a full sprite sheet, meaning that I'm pretty sure she has techniques and abilities that are not on this spreadsheet. But pretty freaking insane. And I'm really wondering if this is going to be oh, they're actually going to talk about it. I didn't read the article all the way to the end, so let's see. Of course, Hollow Knight fans will be wondering what this all means for the Silksong actual release date. You'd imagine it would come out before September 18th if it's going to be playable from then at a museum. Perhaps we're looking at an August launch. So that's what IGN is guessing as well, which is, like I said, one of the very big possibilities for this. Whatever the case, things are certainly ramping up in the world of Hollow Knight. Silksong made a brief appearance at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct last month, and soon after, Team Cherry nailed down the 2025 release window. The game showed up for the hardware-focused presentation in a blink-and-you'll-miss-it moment that included little more than a few seconds of gameplay and confirmation of Team Cherry's updated launch plans. It was the most meaningful update on Silksong in years, and they're pretty right about that, because people have been talking shit about Silksong for a long time, but it is the first actual meaningful update. Originally confirmed for the Nintendo Switch and PC, with Xbox and Game Pass and PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions being added later. So yes, by the way, if you don't know, they also did confirm that it is coming to Switch 1. So anyone who does have a Switch 1 is not planning on upgrading right away to a Switch 2 and is worried that you'll miss out on Silksong, you will not. There will be a Switch 1 playable version of the game. So a version added. Silksong has been at the center of a number of bizarre teases over the years. Tim Cherry kicked off 2025 with a mysterious tease related to a chocolate cake recipe, leading desperate fans to hope that the reveal would be in April. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know. If it's not out yet, is anyone crazy enough to travel to Australia? I don't think there's anyone in the chat here, right, that would travel to Australia just to play Silksong in September if the game is not out already. And how many people think the game's going to already be out or that it's coming out after? Let's actually poll. Let's do a quick poll in the chat. I'm wondering what people are thinking. Give me a sec here. Will Silksong release for boom. Let me know what you guys think. We'll check into the poll in a few minutes. But will Silksong release before September 18th? So September 18th is the day it becomes playable in the museum. Who's thinking, yes, it releases before, no, it releases after? Yeah, we got news that Silksong is switched to 2025, I think. Yeah, it is switched to 2025, but I think it's going to be a multi-console release. I don't think it's going to be a Switch exclusive this time at all. Well, it never really was, but like, it's going to be a multi-console release. I'm almost sure. Give me a sec again, guys. Oh, okay, we're back at it. Like I said, that freaking cough that I'm fighting off is starting to become annoying, and I think I will have to go see a doctor soon because it's getting uber annoying. Oh yeah, much better. Much freaking better. Okay, there we go. Sorry guys, gotta readjust things, make sure we're top notch to keep going. Okie doke. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm super excited for this game. Once again, top. I'll be honest though, I think because of the massive wait for the game, my passion for it has diminished a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, the so many years of saying yes, it's coming out, no, it's coming out, yes, it's coming out, no, it's coming out, no, it's not coming out, has reduced a little bit my excitement. Like I thought when I would finally know it's 2025, I would feel like that burning desire to play the game right away. But I'm actually a little bit more excited for the 2D Ninja Gaiden and the 2D and the oh my god, we just saw it. The 2D I'm so freaking awful with titles. Shinobi, for freak's sake. There we go. The 2D Shinobi. But yes, so that's the only thing. That's the only thing that for me has sort of like been sort of a downer on this. It's that it actually has affected my overall excitement for the game. And I agree. But honestly, like I rather they take their time and they release a good game. But there has been this sort of diminishment in excitement. And I'm not gonna lie, I think too, although Hollow Knight remains still one of the best Metroidvanias on the Switch, other companies have managed to get up there. Do you know what I mean? It's like they are still one of the best, but they're not quite as alone in their league as they were when the first Hollow Knight came out. Other teams have managed to catch up to them a bit because they haven't. But you know what? This one might set a new standard. So we don't know what this one's all about yet. We haven't played it yet. So I might pick it up and regret each word I'm saying right now. And I'm open to that. I'm open to that possibility where I am proven to be totally freaking wrong. And in the end, I end up regretting every word that I'm saying right now. But that is the Silksong news. Glad to know, though, that we sort of got like a semi reveal. Because like I said, I don't think... exactly. And some have actually managed to come pretty close. And that's, I think, why my excitement diminished a little bit. It's that other games have managed to scratch that itch in between. And others have done it in a different way. Like, I'm trying to think of games that have done like very, very close to it. Like Nine Souls. Even though it's in a totally different style, give me a sec. The Last Fate. You know, when we played The Last Fate, like it's a totally different style, but I mean, it is that hardcore Metroidvania, and you know, just blasphemous too. These like those hardcore Metroidvanias, like there are other games that have managed to deliver something very, very close to that type of experience where you have a Metroidvania and it is really hard and it is really satisfying and it has beautiful artwork and it has a mysterious story. Ori, exactly. So I think that is partially too, like, because they waited so long, the expectations are going to be so high that they better deliver. That is the one thing that I'm also scared of for the team's sake, is that if they don't deliver the perfect experience, because they made people wait so long, they're people are going to be super harsh on them. And I might agree with you there, Squirrel. Which is why I'm mentioning these games. And I'm mentioning that that's why I think my excitement has diminished a little bit, because I've managed to get that feeling from other games. Yeah, but I mean, I want them to deliver the game they want to deliver. So if they didn't feel that they weren't ready to deliver the game, I'm just sort of putting it in words that the consequence of that, though, is that, like, they're in a do or die spot. Like, if their game doesn't come out and it doesn't feel near perfect, it's going to be hard. But okay, let's move on to our next story. So I didn't, I think at this point, a lot of people have heard the original story. So I wanted to focus more on what Genki posted as a reply, basically a couple of days ago. But if you guys don't know what happened at a CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, Genki showed up with a reproduction of a Nintendo Switch 2. And it turned out to be the actual reproduction of the Switch 2. At that moment, the Switch 2 wasn't revealed yet, so people were doubting whether it was the real mock-up of a Switch 2 or not. And it wasn't a functional Switch 2, it was a mock-up, it was a 3D print of what the Switch 2 looks like, size-wise, what the Joy-Cons look like, what the Switch actually is going to look like physically. And apparently they had to nix that shit because Nintendo showed up with a bunch of lawyers and said, you better get this shit off the floor. And Genki sort of complied, but they did have Nintendo Switch 2 accessories to show off. And obviously, I said it back then, if a company is producing accessories, that means they have the real Switch 2. No company is actually going to produce accessories unless they know the exact specifications of the system they're producing it for. So basically, what we found out last week is Nintendo is officially suing Genki for, copyright infringement, for basically a bunch of other stuff related to copyright infringement. Like, you have copyright infringement. What else did they sue them for? They sued them for competition, the Unfair Competitions Act. Anyway, a bunch of like legal stuff that basically said that they prevented Nintendo. They basically prevented Nintendo from running a fair promotion campaign for a system that wasn't out yet. So basically, Genki responded to them to say, you may have seen that Nintendo recently filed a lawsuit against us. We're taking it seriously and working with legal counsel to respond thoughtfully. What we can say is this: Genki has always been an independent company focused on building innovative gaming accessories for the community we love. We're proud of the work we've done, and we stand by the quality and originality of our products. While we can't comment in detail, we're continuing preparations to fulfill orders and showcase our newest products at PAX East this week. We're grateful for the overwhelming support we've received so far. We'll share more when we can, but for now, we're staying focused on doing what we do best, building gear for gamers. Now, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I just want to specify that before. But I generally have, I want to give my thoughts on where I think a lot of this might land. Now, one thing that I didn't check is exactly where they're suing them, because that's going to have a big impact as well. As if they're suing them in Japan, I think they have a way better chance of actually winning than if they're suing them like in the US or anywhere else. The reason mainly why is that they would have to, in my opinion, they would have to prove that Genki actually did buy a stolen product of which they based their Nintendo Switch 2 accessories off and the mock-up to be able to win the case. Because in my opinion, if they can't prove that Genki actually bought a stolen product knowingly that it was stolen, I don't think... I'm not a lawyer, but I think they're going to have a hard time selling a couple of them, especially the copyright infringement, because Nintendo making accessories for the device, like, they're not actually selling a replacement to the Nintendo Switch 2. And you already you can make unlicensed Joy-Cons for the Switch 1, and there's nothing Nintendo can do about it. So I don't really see how they can sue them on that basis. But overall, we'll see how this thing plays out. It just feels like Nintendo's trying to make an example of them to say, the next time you guys, the next time we're setting up a release, even if you get it early, shut the F up. Get your products ready, but shut the F up till we're ready to reveal it. And obviously, Genki did this as a publicity stunt at CES. I think they're regretting it now. I think they're regretting it. Although, I'll be honest, them getting sued is getting them back in the news. And most likely, people are going to be buying more Genki products because of that. So, I think they're going to have to get sued for a good deal of money and win a good deal of money for Nintendo to be able, for it to be worthwhile. Because a lot of this is like insanely high levels of free publicity for them. So I'm even wondering that if they get sued and they win, and Nintendo wins, is this still not a worthwhile marketing campaign for them? Like, is all this publicity and all this stuff going to actually maybe pay them out more than what they would have had to pay for this level of publicity? That is a big question I'm asking myself as well. And I'm wondering if it's part of their calculations that they don't actually give a crap. As long as they don't lose like a multi million-dollar lawsuit. Like, I think they can deal with a few million, but if they lose like, like something insane, like, I don't know, like $100 million, payout to Nintendo, I think there they would be at a loss. But I think they could actually deal with a couple of million. But it is what it is. Right now, performance mode. What are we talking about? I'll be at PAX East. Do I need to do some work? LOL. Well, I mean, if you can get your hands on some Genki accessories, and if you have a channel, man, it can definitely be worthwhile. Possibly, I would actually, if I could go to PAX East and get my hands on some accessories, I would definitely, like I would definitely think that right now that will be a very, very popular thing. Like, if you can review a Genki accessory right now, because of the fact that they're being sued by Nintendo. Rick, Cyberpunk 2077. What's up about Cyberpunk 2077? What's up about it, Champ Dancer? But overall, I do think that, like, I don't know if Nintendo, like, I just find it funny that, like, I think they're trying to make an example out of them, but I think at the same time, it's going to backfire in the sense that it's actually going to help them more than it's going to hurt them. Just talking about the game. Okay, yeah, no problem, my man. Oh, that's what the frame rates are I gotcha. Thank you for updating me on the conversation that I don't have time to keep up with. My bad. So, will Silksong release? We had 12 votes, and it is exactly evenly split down the middle. You guys do this on purpose, don't you? Like, almost every time I put up a poll, it comes out 50-50. I think you guys are doing this on purpose now. Yeah, of course, my man. Yeah, I just caught on. My bad. Man, you're gonna run out of beer soon. Big problems. Big problems. Because I emptied all of it to fill out the 1 liter. Yeah, I know. It does look sick, my man. Okay. Give me a sec again, man. I gotta blow my nose again. It's freaking insane. I'm fed up. There we go. Run out to get some more beer. Unfortunately, at this hour, you can no longer buy beer here. After 11 p.m., you can no longer buy beer unless you actually go to a bar. It is unfortunate. I don't know if you guys have a cutoff time for buying alcohol, but I used to work in a convenience store, so I know, like, unfortunately, I know the hours, but here it's 11 p.m. After 11 p.m., they can't sell beer anymore. Oh, that is too unfortunate. Hot take around these takes. Dude, I respect your candidacy, and you know what? You're allowed to not give a shit about Silksong. I am a very strong defender of, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, and it is perfectly fine to not like what everyone else likes. No one has to like anything, and the old saying, you can't argue with taste. As long as you don't say something is like a bad game, that I will defend to the death, because, like, saying that something is a bad game to me is a big saying. But saying this is not a game that I like, or this is not my kind of game, I will respect that to the ends of the earth, because we'll be talking about a game that everyone's crazy about, that I personally am very lukewarm over, because I'm not a fan of the series. But we will get to that. So let's move on to our next story. This one comes to us from Nintendo Life. Now, the Switch 2 GameCube controller early purchase apparently goes live next week. And by next week, that means this week, because this is a story that was broken last Thursday. And this is for North America. So let's just read through this really quick. So alongside the Switch 2 release, Nintendo is adding the GameCube library to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. If you experience this library of games in the most authentic way possible, you're going to want one of the new GameCube controllers. This looks like an original GameCube controller, but also contains wireless capabilities and includes additional buttons like the C button as seen on other Switch 2 controllers. The purple controllers will once again release on June 5th, the same date as the Switch 2, as Nintendo has now confirmed that the dates you'll be able to buy them if you're released in North America. So apparently, early purchase dates that you had to receive an invitation for, you will be able to pick them up between May 8th and May 12th. And then starting on May 13th, the controllers will be open to paid Nintendo Switch Online membership holders. They will set you back $64.99 US dollars or $84.99 Canadian, and there is a limit of one purchase per Nintendo account. So it's pretty crazy to think that in 2 days, some people are going to be able to start buying these. Now, I'm gonna once again have a hot take here. Out of all the retro controllers that Nintendo has made, this one has me the least excited. This one literally has me the least excited out of all the retro controllers that Nintendo has made. I do find that personally, many companies have made better versions of this controller over the last years, making me less excited about this specific one. Not only that, but I still have my original Nintendo GameCube controllers as well. So, and although I had my original Nintendo controllers and my original like Super Nintendo controller and whatnot, they were much harder to be able to use on a Switch. However, the original GameCube controller has a Switch adapter. So I do get that this is a fun purchase, and they're probably going to sell like hotcakes. Like, people are going to be picking them up, but to me, it is a lot less exciting. Lot less exciting, and not only that, the fact that it doesn't have all the buttons to play modern games is actually really disappointing, because like I said, Nixie makes an excellent wireless version that I have that gives me zero reason to pick up this controller, because the Nixie version is just better in every way. And it still gives you the feeling, do I have it anywhere? Yeah, it's right here. And it still gives you a very close feeling to the original GameCube controller. Like, I know it's not exactly the same. It actually looks more like a Wavebird. But ultimately, if you guys remember, the Wavebird was exactly... Awesome Tatum, you took the words out of my mouth. The Wavebird was the better one, though. Like, so why wouldn't you want the controller that feels exactly like a Wavebird, on top of having all the buttons you need to play modern games as well, if you can get used to them? And I would say ultimately having an even better D-pad. So I'm excited about this for the nostalgia factor, but I'm not even going to pick one up. Like, I'll pick one up after I have everything else I want for the Switch 2. And I go to like the Nintendo store in New York. Like, next visit to New York, if I go to the Nintendo store, I'll pick one up in person. But I'm not going to order it. I'm not going to pay shipping for it. I'm not going to like spend $100 on this controller, because $84.99 Canadian, okay? There's at least $10 to $15 of shipping to be added to that, and then I have to pay like tax on top of it. So that is going to be insane. And on top, and who knows, I might get tariffed, man. You know? I might get tariffed because this thing is going to be coming from the US. So depending on like what happens with that crap, I might have to pay like 25% to import it on top of it. Nothing official yet, but I do plan on visiting if I can in the next year. Like, in the next year, I do plan on visiting again. Everything's up in the air with what's happening. you know. Uh, yeah, that's not gonna happen, Squirrel Mama. That's not gonna happen though. So it's really always gonna be a concern overall. The tariffs are gonna fall way before we hit the 51st state. That is guaranteed. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm just saying that ultimately, I find that this is very expensive for a fun reproduction. This is a very expensive for a fun reproduction. I got two Nixie controllers a couple of years ago. They're good. Yeah, Nixie controllers are really good. And that's not only because they've sponsored the channel before and provided me with review samples. Like Nixie controllers overall, I've got to say, as a third party manufacturer, I would put them right below 8BitDo. Like I still say 8BitDo is probably my favorite third party manufacturer for controllers, but right underneath is Nixie. They make excellent controllers. But yeah, so it is what it is. I did want to point it out that some people starting next week, you might see review videos pop up. You might see things on social media because apparently people are being invited starting on May 8th to 12th. And then the official, like you can go on the website starting on the 13th and order these. It's pretty crazy, man. Like I wish I would be close enough to be able to drive to the New York store. They really need to open a Toronto store. They really, really need to open a store in Canada. Nintendo, if you're watching, please, one store in Canada. If you do it in Montreal, I'd love you forever because like that means I'm like 20 minutes away from the Nintendo store. But if you do it in Toronto, even if it's a 6-hour drive, I would still be eternally grateful. So, top of my wish list. So that was one of the faster stories. Let's actually really dive into this one right away. This is the extra story that I popped up. This happened literally today at 4 p.m. Okay, like the story here was popped at 4:38. At 4 p.m. it was announced. GameStop Canada sold the franchise. So GameStop Canada was bought by actually a Quebec man, so someone who lives in the province where I live. Called Stéphane Tétrault, and he's a co-owner of McFarlane Toys, and he is basically also he also has a an import store called Import du Dragon, which is actually an import shop that I've worked with in the past, like in my full-time job. Basically they're like about 20 minutes from where I live. So they're bringing EB Games back, guys. Not only did they buy GameStop, but they're bringing back EB Games, baby. I'm honestly super, super happy about this. This is amazing news. Look, I loved GameStop. It was fine, but like EB Games, by the way, I worked for EB Games as well. Like as a student, I worked for EB Games from like, I think I was 19 to 21. I worked for EB Games as a like in store. So when they became GameStop, like to me, it was still the same place, but it did feel different. And I'm really happy to see EB Games coming back. Now, they are saying that during the transition, the EB Games Canada says that day-to-day business will continue as normal, while all products and services offered to customers will remain unchanged. This means that previously pre-orders, gift cards, and protection plans and Edge loyalty program memberships will be honored. The game company says that transition to EB Games Canada will roll out nationwide in the coming months, and this includes updates to signage, redesigned website, and a new branding across all digital and social platforms. This is honestly, like I said, I am super, super stoked about this. And on top of it being a French-Canadian businessman, like I said, someone from my home province that bought the whole chain, it is actually pretty freaking crazy. Well, ultimately, eventually over time, Squirrel, EB Games, and GameStop became the same. Like, ultimately, but before there was a difference in like origin and philosophy. EB Games was simply because EB Games was basically bought out by GameStop, and then basically for years, however, they operated completely separately, meaning that in Canada, GameStops were all called EB Games, and in the US, you had both. And then basically over time, they just transitioned to GameStop everywhere. And I would say mostly nothing changed in most of the stores to the day to day, but in the background stuff did change a bit. Like for people that I know that work there, like stuff did change a bit. Like it was a little bit harder to do something a little different than the US branches and stuff, whatnot. Thank you, Awesome Tatum, for becoming a channel supporter. Welcome to the supporters, Awesome Tatum. Thank you so much for your membership, my man. Welcome. But yes, this to me is an absolutely amazing news. And I'm really happy because, yes, the CEO, which is Mr. Cohen, said earlier this year that he wanted to sell off the Canadian and French operations because it was too complicated. And what the worst is this guy too is from here as well. Ryan Cohen is from freaking Montreal. So that was actually, and he said it was because of wokeness and DEI, whatever that means. Like, you guys know me. I'm not like a supporter of that, but I'm not either completely against it. And saying you need to sell a company because of wokeness and DEI, dude, just adjust your policies. Like it's so dumb to say that about a company. Now, given that GameStop, a brand as a whole, has been struggling for years, even before Cohen's tenure, it remains to be seen how the revamped EB Games will fare under Tétrault's leadership. There are more than 185 EB Games Canada stores across Canada. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think this is going to be a really, really good news for collectors because the new owner has imported a lot of things to Quebec that previously were unavailable here, like TMNT figures and stuff like that were impossible to get, and that we can only get them because of Import du Dragon, which basically imports a bunch of brands that do not make French packaging, and they actually produce the French packaging here for those products so that the stores are allowed to sell them in Quebec. And they even sell to huge chains like Walmart. And like the big stores all buy from Import du Dragon. So it's like a huge importing company. It is actually pretty insane, and I think this is going to be some really good news. Now, left to be seen how after that things transition. The important thing is up until June 5th, everything stays the same. And I get my freaking Switch too. After that, anything can happen and I'm good. But that was some really exciting news today. I'm not going to spend more times on it because, I mean, this is a very local type thing. But it's a local type thing that I put a smile on my face for today. Okay. Let's also get out of the way a quick PSA announcement. So if you did have an error code after the latest update to the Nintendo Switch, so when 20.0.0 came out, some people unfortunately were getting an error message, which was error code 22061015. It's funny because someone I know actually got the error message, and I actually, you know, when I saw this, I actually sent it to him and managed to unbrick his Switch. But basically, what's important to note is that Nintendo came out with a fix for it, which is 20.0.1. However, if your Switch is already bricked, it's very important that you have to use the, you have to basically use the forced shutdown, and then you have to set it into maintenance mode. So the way you set it into maintenance mode is that number one, you have to power it off. So you do the forced power off. So you hold this power button down 12 seconds. Then when you power on the Switch console, you have to also hold down the plus and minus volume button, and you have to keep those pressed down till the maintenance mode menu is displayed. You'll see it right away. You'll have just 3 options in the maintenance mode menu, and you'll have to choose in the maintenance mode the update system, which will allow you to get the update and fix your bricked Switch. So the good news is that they responded to the fix super quick. And it's funny because like my friend was worried. He thought he had a first gen Switch. I don't know, from my experience, I've only there's only 2 people I know that have had this happen, and both had it happen with a first gen Switch. I don't know anyone that had it happen with a refresh Switch, like the Switch after they put in the smaller processor, or an OLED. But if it is happening to you, important, make sure you force power it down and then you go into maintenance mode, and the update will now be out. All you need to do is choose the update system option and you will be able to unbrick your Switch. Now, to be honest, I would have liked Nintendo to release this like more obviously. Like, I would have actually said that like Nintendo should have put out a video on the Nintendo channel, which they didn't. I think this is a situation where it's okay to do it. Dude, you can't tell me there's no one that works at Nintendo, like a Nintendo of America, that couldn't get in front of a camera and say, "Hey guys, if you updated your Switch and it bricked, do this, that." You know what I mean? Like, it would have gotten a lot of traction and it would have been a really goodwill story. But the important thing is here, Nintendo Life shared the information. Make sure that if you have a friend, if you know someone that has a bricked Switch, give them the link to the story. I'll put it in the chat even. Give them the link to the story. It'll help them unbrick their Switch. Okay? No one should be losing a Switch over an update. Okay. With that out of the way, we're going to get to what I think are the 4 biggest stories of today. And I know today's been a more like longer, drawn out episode, but we missed 2 weeks, you know? I was missing you guys. So I wanted to take my time. Now, you know when we were talking about franchises that we don't really give a crap about, but other people are diehards for? I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. I don't hate Grand Theft Auto, but I really don't care about it that much either. And I know it's blasphemous. I know some people will be like, "Oh my God, Grand Theft Auto is the best thing under the sun." I've played most of them. All of them, actually. But I'll be honest, I've never really fell in love with the series. It's one of those series that it's there, I'll try, but I always end up giving, like, I stop playing before I get to the end of the game because I just don't connect with the characters or the story. And that's just me. And it's okay. I mean, we're all different. We all have different passions. I don't get into Grand Theft Auto. I haven't. The closest one that I got into was Vice City. And I still didn't finish it. My brother finished it, and then I would mess around with stuff after he finished with it, with the game. But for all those out there that love Grand Theft Auto, and look, it is going to be one of the biggest releases of all time. Let's be honest. I know. So many people are waiting for this game. It's going to be insane. It's going to be one of the biggest releases. So the fact that I care more or less about the game doesn't change the fact that I'm not oblivious to the fact that this is going to be one of the biggest releases of all time. If it comes out on the Switch 2, we're going to be playing it day one. We're going to be trying it. Who knows? Maybe I'll fall in love with my first GTA game. But this week we were hit with some pretty big news for a lot of people. Grand Theft Auto 6 is now coming out May 26th of 2026. I'll be honest with you, the first time I read this, I thought they were telling us that it was coming out like in 3 weeks. I thought they were doing like a shadow, like, oh my God, it's coming out in 3 weeks. And then I read 2026 and I was like, holy shit, they're pushing it back. Because if you guys know, it was supposed to come out by the end of this year. But here is the message. Hi, everyone. Grand Theft Auto 6 is now set to release on May 26th of 2026. We are very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time, to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. I'm gonna put out a wild theory there. I'm thinking that they might have actually started like very early playtesting, and maybe the reactions aren't what they wanted. Because I'll be honest, a game that they kept so close to the vest for so long, to finally this year announce that it was going to be 2025, and then pull a delay like this. Like, and they saw what happened with Cyberpunk. So they know that, like, you're better to say nothing till you actually have real information, because if you delay too many times, it starts getting people antsy and it starts getting stockholders antsy. I'm worried that they actually did a first round of playtesting with this, like very early playtesting. And the game really didn't hit what they were looking for it to hit. And like the way they've worded this, like obviously this could be just like normal speak, but the way that with every release the goal has always been to exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. I hope you understand that we need extra time. Did they try to deliver something and maybe expectations weren't exceeded? Because don't forget, the same thing that we just said about Team Cherry is going to be true for Rockstar Games. The longer they wait, the more they're going to have to compete with games that are catching up to them. I do agree with you, God of War, though. Same thing I said about Team Cherry. Take the time to release a good game. But the longer you wait, the bigger the expectations, and the bigger the games are going to have time to catch up with you. Now, I do think Grand Theft Auto is still in a league of its own. Like, other than other Rockstar games, I can't really think of other games that really have hit as crazy open world, other than maybe Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? But if you think about it, not that many games have hit the type of expectations we have from Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, you have Elden Ring, but it's a different type of open world. Like, it's not at all in the same take as GTA. GTA peaked at San Andreas. We'll see. Yeah, Saints Row was awful, though, the last one. Saints Row, the last one, was freaking awful. I would have agreed up until the last one. The last Saints Row was terrible. Terrible. Yeah, and Red Dead is another Rockstar game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of games outside of Rockstar. No one counts the last one. It never existed. Exactly, it never existed. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a GTA fan, so to me, Vice City was one of my favorites, and it'll probably remain Vice City. But it is still insane news, and that is like, and I'm wondering why May 26th of 2026. Like, it's, to me, it's so weird when they give, like, I'm glad they're giving a specific date, but it is also so weird that you're giving a specific date that's more than a year away. Like, how do they know May 26th? You know what I mean? Exactly. But to me, like, you can't compete Elden Ring with GTA. Like the bases of the games are too different. What you want from the games are way too different as well. If you get what I mean, like you're not expecting the same thing from Elden Ring than you are from a GTA game. Like GTA games can be hard, but you don't expect like challenging crazy combat like you do in Elden Ring, and bosses that like are, like GTA isn't focused around like a massive challenging bosses that are like visually and mechanically stunning. So the core gameplay is very different in the two series. Red Dead, like I said, is comparable. I would say like Witcher would be more comparable to a GTA. Even though we're like talking about realism versus fantasy, nonetheless, like Witcher and Cyberpunk are very much more similar in a way. The other thing is maybe the storyline. Maybe they were going a little bit too, that whole like love story between the two characters. Like I don't see them changing that completely, but maybe they went a little too soft. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, GTA is not about like a love story between a dude and his chick. Like to me, that would feel like really, really bad if the storyline is a huge twist around that. And maybe they realized that wasn't resonating the way they wanted. Because like to me, when I saw the trailer, that was the biggest, like, as a non-fan, but that knows what the series is about. To me, though, that was the biggest alarm bell. Where they were trying to anchor the story around like what would seem to be a romance between the two characters. Because if you look at the trailers, that's really where they seem to be putting the anchor point here. And that feels to me like really weird for a GTA. Like, I'm not saying there aren't romance stories in GTA. I'm just saying like to lock it down to like the main core of the gameplay, if you get what I mean. Like I would say Brotherhood is way more of a staple in GTA than like romantic love. You watched the first season of DMC? We can talk a bit about DMC. I'm going to try to do this very spoilerless, okay? Like, don't worry for anyone here. I'm going to be talking very general themes. Action, top notch. When Dante is on screen, top notch. Lady, I hated her character. I hated the spin they gave to her character. She's annoying more than everything. And I don't like the whole government agency twist. I really don't like the whole government agency twist. I feel like it's a really bad subplot. I feel like it's a really, really bad subplot that by the end becomes like the main plot. And the whole government agencies thing just feels like unneeded political statement in a show that could have been way better. Way better. Yeah, the DMC 2 is the worst DMC. A Devil May Cry game? How many super chats for me to stream a Devil May Cry game? DMC is Devil May Cry. Well, like which one? Which one, Awesome Tatum? That would depend on which DMC, the Devil May Cry we're talking about. Because the only ones I've played 1 through 4 all the way through. DMC 3 is my favorite. So I mean, I have 5. I haven't played through all the way. I have it, but I haven't played through it yet. I haven't had the time. I started it, but I haven't had the time. 3 is like I don't know. Like the problem is the time to find it. So it's like if I would make that promise, I have to make sure that I can play through the game on stream, and DMC's like what, like 6 or 7 hours probably, since I haven't played it in years. Like I'm not gonna be able to blast through it like when you're top notch and you've played it like recently. I don't know. Let me think about it, and maybe in a future stream, my man, we'll address that question. We'll address that question. Well, yeah, it's really just a time for exactly. It's like we would have to find like a really long streaming time for, because like I wouldn't want to say, hey, this much people do it, and then like be like, oh, in 4 months I'll play the games. Like, so it has to be a setup where, okay, in this stream, if we get this many, I'm gonna play through DMC3, and if we get it, like the week after, we're doing it. And I know for a fact I won't be able for the next 2 weeks to do much extra. I'm going to try, guys, but I know it for a fact. Because, by the way, there's something I haven't been talking about that's coming up. My eldest daughter's getting married at the end of the month. So things have been very busy on the side, on weekends and on the side, because we're on the run up to her wedding. She's getting married on the weekend of May 26th-ish, somewhere around there. Like whatever it is, the last weekend in May, that is going to be her wedding. So she's getting married. And so like I got my wedding clothes like last weekend, like the weekend that just passed. We spent like all of Saturday buying my wedding clothes. I didn't have any like super clean clothes anymore, because like even though I work in like an office, it's a business casual office. So like I have a lot of like polo shirts and like, clean pants, but like not dress pants, like, like just clean, like in between dress and like casual. So I had nothing that like I could wear, and I've gained so much volume in my shoulders and my back that basically like nothing, no shirts or anything of mine were fitting me anymore. Like if I wanted like full dress shirts, and I tried to find a vest, and it's insane. Like that's the problem when you're short but you're like wide in the shoulders, is like I'm like a 44 to 46 in the shoulders, but I'm only 5'7". So the vests that fit me make me look like even shorter than I am, because they're super long. Because like 44s and 46s are like pretty freaking wide. So yeah. So I'm basically going without a vest, because like every vest I would try, like I would have needed like to have them customized to like make them like shorter and fit properly. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Dress as Mario. Yeah, I'll wear my Halloween Mario costume. I made a joke because I do have like a tuxedo t-shirt. I'm like, can I wear my tuxedo t-shirt? Because it's the only thing that I'm sure is going to fit me properly. But no, I got a nice getup. Hey, by the way, Nanaki, I wanted to say thank you so much for the super chat in the $2 deals video. Thank you so much for that support. It is very appreciated. I don't get them often in my videos, and that was a really, really nice surprise to see. So thank you so much for that super chat in the $2 video. Very, very appreciated. Okay, so yes, GTA 6 late, like we went on a total tangent. So if I'm very busy over the next couple of weeks on top of the Switch 2 coming out, by the way, that is the main reason why, okay? It's because like it's not a secret, but like, it has nothing to do with gaming and stuff, so I haven't been like talking about it, but that has been taking up a lot of time lately. Okay. Now we're going to get probably these sucky stories. The game business. This week, we found out that Xbox is raising prices on consoles, games, and controllers worldwide. So if you guys thought that an $80 Mario Kart sucked, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because Xbox has also confirmed that some of their game prices will be reaching $80 by the end of the year. And the thing is, Xbox doesn't even have the excuse that they produce cartridges for some of their games. They're still printing on discs. While the Xbox Series X is now $600 in the US. So you know everyone complaining about a $450 Nintendo Switch 2? Get ready, baby, because there's a $600 Xbox Series X, which is an older console now. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 will be $80 for sure. For sure. If you think it's anything, it's going to be $90, man. They're going to be like, F you guys, if you want to play the only good Xbox game this year, pay $200. Like, just do it. Just go balls to the walls crazy and see how many people pay for it. Make it the Extreme Deluxe exclusive edition and charge $200 for it. But we're going to talk about this because it is pretty insane. Now, if you guys don't know, I had an Xbox Series X when it came out. Okay? I sold it because no games were coming out. And I bought a PS5 instead, which I'm super happy that I did because the PS5 turned out to be a console that I play way more often than my Xbox Series X, even though I play my Switch like 10 times more. And 10 times is probably understating it, like 20 times more. But the US has seen the steepest price increases. So by the way, in the US, you guys are getting the biggest like increase to the prices, with the Xbox Series X increasing by $100. So from $499 to $599. The base Series S, like the Series S, which is basically an Xbox One, okay, is going from raising by $80. So it's raising from $350 to $429. In Europe, the X is increasing by 50 euros to $599 to be in line with the $599 price in the US. But the euro was already stronger, so it's like for them, it's less of an increase. And the Series S is also going up by $50, hitting $349. The UK prices are also going up, so that we're by £20 for the Series X to $4.99 for the British pound, and $50 pounds more for the Series S, which is $2.99. Now, by the way, Canada's getting raped as well because we are basically paying Australia prices, but in Canadian dollars. So for me, an Xbox Series S is $550 now. Okay, just so you know. The Series X is $749 freaking dollars. And that's the digital edition. If you want a Series X with the freaking hardware, like be able to run discs, $849. Like here in Canada, a Series X is almost, with taxes, we're almost at $1,000. No one is going to buy one. They're already on the shelves collecting dust. No one is going to buy one. It is crazy. Now, I know people hate talking about this, but this is also a major contributor than this is the tariffs. And that is why the US is getting hit harder. But it's not the sole reason, but it is one of the main reasons. And if you guys go back a few months, I just want to remind you guys what I said was going to happen. Companies are going to use the tariffs as excuses for raising prices, which right now are valid. But the problem that you're going to see is even when the tariffs drop, the prices are going to stay where they are. Or they're going to come back, but they're not going to come back as low as before, even if things go back to pre-tariff prices. And that was one of the reasons that all of this is going to be really rough for the consumer. Because ultimately, and look, I'm not going to get into it. You guys can check on your own. In 2016, when the last tariffs happened, 90% of them were passed on to the consumer. And that was a study done afterwards in the US by US firms. 90% of the tariffs ended up to be consumer based, and most of the tariffs didn't drop off after the tariffs dropped off. It took years for things to come back to like about 40% of where they were. Inflation is part of it. That's why I said it's part of it. It just is a major part, and it's an easy excuse right now to really up the prices. So even if things aren't getting that much more expensive, it will happen. It's gonna be a byproduct. And like I can't get into details, but I've already worked out a plan to bypass tariffs between Canada and US for companies. Like I've actually sold the plan to companies, so it's already in work, and it's working right now. Like there's actually a way to like get around them, but the companies are raising the prices on the other end nonetheless because they can use the excuse of paying them when they're actually not paying them without actually going manufacturing. And like it's just a loophole that most likely they're going to figure out like in a year or two, but most of the companies don't care because they're going to make money in the time, and they know that most of the tariffs are going to drop by then. And it's technically legal. It's a loophole. It's just a loophole that they didn't think of yet. And by the time they get there, like that's why I said I can't say what it is, because I like my job is part of finding these things. So I found it like not me alone, like a team, but like we found it. It's working, and there's nothing they can do about it for the moment because there's no way to close the loophole theoretically right now. So, and by the time they're gonna figure it out and maybe find a way to close it, it's gonna be like too late. Like the profit's gonna be made, and they can't go back because it wasn't illegal. You know what I mean? It's just like it is what it is. So like and a lot of companies are just going to use excuses, like, but to be totally honest, like it's not going to it's not going to happen. Like what I'm saying is it's going to work for small to medium sized businesses. But it's not going to work for like Microsoft. Microsoft has to pay the tariffs because they're too big. Like they can't pass under the radar. But for a bunch of like medium to middle sized businesses, there's a really easy workaround for the moment. But it's complex, but it's actually easy to. Like once you have it set up, it's set up and it's done. It's like done, and it's really like. If one day we meet up in person and we're not recorded on the internet, we can go through it. But yeah, no recording though. I'm gonna have to frisk you guys. But yeah, it is what it is. It's just that that's what I find shitty is that it is part of it all. Like, to be honest, if you look at Nintendo, the increase in game prices was going to happen no matter what. That has nothing to do with tariffs. It has nothing to do with anything. The hardware is the part that is going up because of that, and that is the part that they were not going to do if it wouldn't have happened. Can VGP and PlayAsia do it? I don't think they can. I don't think VGP. It works if your company is the first producer of the product, but since VGP and PlayAsia are already importers, it'd be hard for them to use that plan. Like the one that I came up with is for people that are producing the first end products. Exactly. That is where the biggest profit margin is on the accessories. But yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm just bringing attention to the fact that Xbox Series S's are crazy, and it is sucky because I'll explain to you that I was actually looking at buying a Series S. Okay, because a Series S till these price increases were like under $400, and I wanted it as a Game Pass box. You understand? I wanted to get Microsoft Game Pass and be able to play Game Pass games without having to install them on my computer. And if ever I wanted to stream one, it's way easier to stream if I have a separate console than having to stream them directly from the computer that I'm streaming from. And it's easier than doing a 2 PC setup, because you could also get a 2 PC setup, but it's just a question of convenience. It would have been easier to do that. And I've been looking for a while at picking up a Series S. Obviously, I didn't, just because timing wise, I was never running out of stuff to play, and then Switch 2 popped up. And now with this, it is zero chance I'm ever going to pick up a Series S. That means you're paying like $550 in Canada for a Xbox One. It makes like 0 cents. 0 cents. Get a mini PC, that's the other option. But mini PCs is not, it's actually not the mini PC the problem. It's that basically, like, it has to do with the screens. Okay, it just has to do with the screens. It's just way easier to set up if I have a console because of the type of capture card I have. But it is what it is. Whatever, man. Like, it's just a dead plan now. But it is crazy to see these prices increases, and it's crazy to see them from Xbox first. And I find funny that people are blaming, that people were blaming Nintendo, right, for the price increases. They said Nintendo increased prices, so that's why Microsoft feels okay to increase prices. That is ridiculous. Because, to be honest, Xbox is not competing with Nintendo. Like, they are, but they aren't. Do you understand what I mean? Like, the competition between Nintendo and Xbox is over. Xbox knows they're never going to sell as many consoles as Nintendo unless their handheld comes out and is actually competitive with the Switch. That is maybe the only thing that I'm going to say Microsoft might start competing with Nintendo again. But I do think their console is going to come out more like a Steam Deck. And it's probably going to be very profitable for them to make them, but they're not going to aim at selling 200 million of them, because once again, it's just going to be another Game Pass accessory. All you need is old school Xbox One, and you can name Game Pass Cloud and gaming. So that's all you need. Yeah, but aren't some games exclusive to the S and X? Like, aren't some of the newer games exclusive to the S or X? Like the day one games? That's where I was like looking at like getting it. So if ever they start coming out with day one games that are actually worth it. Like, I'll give you an example, like Indiana Jones. I was a little disappointed I didn't get to play it when it came out. Because by the time I got around to it, like, I played it on my own on the side, but it wasn't worth streaming or doing anything online because by then it was an old game. Everything is in Xbox. Look at Gears of War. The Gears of War thing is releasing on PS5. It's pretty insane. Anyway, it sucks. Xbox is raising prices. No one's going to buy one anymore. They were already losing. Now they're just going to lose harder. Now, the one thing that I'm going to be totally honest with you, I'm scared that PS5 is going to come back with another price increase. Seeing this, I think Sony could do a second price increase. I think they're going to look, because they already did a slight price increase. I think they're going to look at sales for the PS5, and if sales don't drop too hard, they're going to do a second round of increases. But it is what it is. Okay, now we get to the second part of the related story to this. 8BitDo is no longer shipping any products from China to the US. And just to tell you, when we say that they aren't shipping any products from China to the US, that means they aren't shipping like 90% of their products. Now, the controllers and equipment that are already in the US are fine, okay? Because they already obviously have some stuff that are shipped before the tariffs and all that. But currently, 8BitDo has officially announced that they are no longer refreshing product accessibility in the US. Because obviously, with China, they're dealing with a 145% tariff from China. And basically, they're going to run out what they have on the current website, and they won't be refreshing stock. So when I said no more 8BitDo, it's that 8BitDo might become one of those like really, really hard things to get in the US over the next little while without paying crazy second market prices. Like you might be able to buy one from Amazon Canada and have it shipped to the US, but you're going to pay the tariffs when it crosses the border. So you're going to have to pay the 45% increase because you're going to become the importer. I know. And the problem is I'm going to be totally square with you guys. This is probably the first one that are announcing this, but you're going to probably see this for most third-party controllers. Third-party controllers might become no longer existing thing for the next little while in the US. Or it might be really hard to get them. Because most of these are all made in China, and they're never going to be and I'm sorry, they're never going to be made in the US. There's no way that profit margins could work if they have to make them in the US. Like with the current worldwide market. And most of these companies will prefer selling to the rest of the world and excluding the US, because look, yes, the US is the biggest market. They're the biggest market on their own, but the combination of Europe, China, like Canada, Australia, and all the other countries combined still exceed that. So it's not worth them moving their production over. Especially that most likely most of these companies don't expect this to be like a long-term thing. By long-term is like years long. Like most of these companies are probably expecting this to be like a 6 month to a year thing. But you know what? You guys can always come and smuggle some over from Canada. You guys can come over here, come over to my place for a weekend, and then, well, it's short-term planning. They're just not importing right now in US tariffs, or they're holding them in bond warehouses. Like bond warehouses basically is another loophole where you can import things to the US but not pay the tariffs till the products leave the warehouse. So if you think that the tariffs are going to drop very soon, what you can do is you can import them to bond warehouses. You can hold them there till a momentary drop in the tariffs, and then you can pump them all out in a day or two. That's another way around it. And that one I can talk about because that's like a legal one that's been around for years and years and years. But yeah, so you can have that. You can use bond warehouses in between, and that's when they say that. Honestly, they might not be saying, but they might be using that. especially if stuff is already on the ships, they might be holding them there. And then basically, if there's a momentary drop in the tariff war, they're gonna like pump them out in like 2 seconds. But like we're getting into like advanced details of like dumb stuff. But I'm just like saying that basically it is sucky. So if you do want an 8BitDo controller, if you've been waiting, like I said at the beginning of the video, don't wait any longer. Make the move. Right now, I checked. We can check, but I think Ultimate 2s are still in stock on 8BitDo. Boom. Latest products, Xbox, Bluetooth. I think we have to go to Bluetooth. Yeah. I normally don't order directly from their website, so I'm like not as familiar with it. I think this is the Ultimate 2 US, UK. Yeah, so you see they're still I'm already getting the shipping and import charges. You know when they said that Amazon like oh my god, they're going to show the tariffs on Amazon. I already see import charges for years. Like if you go on Amazon International, Amazon's been showing the import charges for years. When you go to a product and there is an import charge on it or a shipping charge, like Amazon already says it. It combines it into both. And if you go into the details, you can actually see like that basically if I buy this controller, I'm going to have to pay $665 shipping and $943 of an import charge because this is a product that theoretically is also available in Canada that I'm deciding to buy from the US. But like, so I found it weird when people were making like a stink about that story because like if you go on Amazon Canada, I'm sure you guys can see it too. You'll see the import charge. It's already been like that for years. I could already see this stuff like for years and years on Amazon. But ultimately, the story is just that they're still in stock for the moment. So I would just like not wait super long if you were looking at picking up any of the current 8BitDo lineup. Yeah, it's gonna be like it is very sad because this is one of my favorite companies. What's also gonna be sad is that I really wanted to cover a lot of third-party controllers, and now I'm wondering if a lot of third parties are gonna be coming out. Or if they're coming out, I'm gonna be wondering if I'm gonna be making videos, but people in the US aren't gonna be able to like sort of share in the fun. Because maybe it'll be hard to get for you guys. Thank you, Rodrigo, for the CLP 1100. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you. So appreciated. Thank you so much for supporting your channel. Woohoo! Okay. Last of our stories. These are the 12 Switch games so far. Once again, a story brought to us by Nintendo Life. Nintendo Life has been featured a lot tonight. Give them some love. Check out their website. They do some great jobs, some great stories. They summarize things really well. But basically, 12 games so far have been confirmed by Nintendo to be receiving totally free upgrades. So these do not require you to be an online member or things like that. And I want to look at the list of games and I want you guys to vote on what you think, what should be the top game. I'm going to give you a choice of like 3 or 4 different games. And I want to know, day one, what is the game you would like me to check out on Nintendo Switch 2 with the free upgrade. So number 1, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They will be getting a free upgrade. I'm telling you right away, I want to check this one out. Because these games run like crap on the Switch 1, and I definitely want to see if the upgrade to the Switch 2 is going to help the frame rate and is going to make the experience overall much better. After that, ARMS. I do not give a crap. I do not own this game. I do not plan on owning this game. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. This one has me amazed. It was one of the first Switch games I ever played. I love this game to death. I'm just wondering what the heck they want to upgrade. there were some very minor performance issues from time to time, but like enough to merit an upgrade? Weird. Next, we have Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, some of the towns I could see like frame rates being a little rough. Like some of the maps, especially when you're in New Donk City, that was pretty rough sometimes. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Clubhouse 51 Worldwide Classics. Why is this game getting an upgrade? I do not have it, by the way. Every other game I have, except Big Brain Academy. I said I only have, okay, there's 3 games I don't have. ARMS, Clubhouse, and Big Brain Academy. But every decent game I have. So Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, these are also top on my list that I'd like to check out, because if you guys remember, especially in the overworld, both Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening did have some rough edges. No, these you do not need the expansion pack. These are just free upgrades. If you own the games, you can get a free upgrade for these games. The ones that you need to have the expansion pack are Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So the 2 Legend of Zeldas, and then we have new Super Mario Brothers. We have Game Builder Garage. I have that game, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to revisit it, to be totally honest, unless the upgrade actually has some really serious new content and making the experience even more complete. I don't think I'm going to be revisiting Game Builder Garage. Now, I'm going to put out on my choices. I want you guys to tell me what games you are most... What upgrade are do you want me to check out? Because don't forget, when we're going to get the Switch 2 in our hands, we're going to be playing some Mario Kart, but we might try to fit in trying some games as well. Or maybe over the couple of days after the Switch 2 comes out. So, I'm not going to put Pokemon in there. Why? Because Pokemon is a given. Okay? Pokemon is a given. I'm going to put the other choices that are not Pokemon. That I think, to me, oh my God, can I spell tonight? I'm just going to put Echoes, okay? We know it's Echoes of Wisdom, okay? And the last one I would say would be... I would say Super Mario 3D World. To be honest, 3D World has me more interested in what they're going to do than Odyssey. There we go. Okay. Switch Pokemon was changed to a Switch 2 exclusive? I did not hear that. But honestly, I would be okay with that. If the Switch 1 version is going to run like shit, why not? Like, I understand it's going to make some Switch 1 people really pissed, but do you really want a game that's going to run like crap? Like, I don't know. I have a problem with... are the Kirby games free? No, the Kirby games aren't free. The Kirby games cost money. I'm starting with the free ones. That doesn't mean we're not going to do the ones that cost money. I'm just starting today. We're looking specifically at the free ones. It's because both of the Kirby games are paid ones. Honestly, though, I wouldn't be against it. If it's gonna run like garbage on Switch One, I wouldn't release the game. But hopefully, they're gonna get it to run okay. He's trolling. Good. Well, I'm happy for Switch people who don't upgrade. Yeah, I know. I know. He was. Yeah, Kirby was named after a lawyer. So, which one of these four games are you most excited in trying out? Well, honestly, the one that's winning is the one that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, $10 and up, and for Canada, they're going to be like $20 and up. But honestly, I have no problem in paying that because, to be honest, like we're probably in the first month or two, like we're not going to have like 12 different games coming out every week, like on Switch One. So we're going to be able to have time to like try stuff. Nah, man, Arms looks zero interesting to me. Zero interesting. If I get into a fighting game, it's going to be Street Fighter 6. We're most likely going to play Street Fighter 6 on the 5th. Because I'm most likely going to get, like, Street Fighter 6 is going to be one of my game card games. We're going to try some game card games. Street Fighter 6, June 5th. Go online, Rick? Go online where? I think I'm already online. I know Tekken 8, I'm really looking forward to. I would really like, I did not get Tekken 8. Oh yeah, we're going to go online, of course. For sure. My Ken is decent. My Ken in Street Fighter 6 is decent. I have it on PS5, so I've played already online. Like my Ken is pretty decent. Like I wouldn't say my Ken is super solid. Like I'm probably not gonna climb super high, but especially if like at first it's not cross-platform, I think I do okay. I do okay. I have to refresh because I think they did a rework like on his combos and stuff. So I would have to like maybe pick some up, but I can stick it out without combos. Like I can still take some matches without it. Allow us to Chung Li you. Chung Li sucks in this Street Fighter. She's not good at all. At least she wasn't when when I left. Like left meaning like because I haven't played competitive online on Street Fighter 6 for like I'd say like 2 months. Chung Li was not an issue. Cammy was an issue. Cammy was a piece of crap. Cammy was annoying as fuck. And as I can't buy Street Fighter 6. The game key thing is the biggest ick. Watch your mouth. Nah, man. Chun Li was bad, man. She was bad in the current game. And because I'm playing as Ken, Zangief annoys the crap out of me. Even though he's not good, he annoys me. I hate playing against Zangief. Like he's like a character I despise playing against. Oh, I love the character. Don't get me wrong. Like, come on. Like, Chung Li is the ultimate, like, hot martial arts girl. Don't get me wrong. As a teen man, I had a crush on her anime version in Street Fighter 2V. If you ever saw the like OAV series, Street Fighter 2V, love Chung Li in that. But that's besides the point. I'm talking about how she plays in the game. She was a powerhouse in a lot of Street Fighter games, like even an unfair powerhouse in like Street Fighter 4. But yeah, but in Street Fighter 6 so far, at least like I said, last time, not very not very competitive. A lot of IG models dressed like Cammy. Yeah, well, the butt bikini is like the easy thing with Cammy. Okay, there we have it. Let's look at the polls. Let's take a look at it. What do we have? 9 votes. 55% want a Super 3D World. 33% want Link's Awakening. 11% want Echoes, and 0 want Captain Toad. Poor Captain Toad, man. Poor Captain Toad. One of my favorite Switch games, too. Cat Mario gets it. Yeah, exactly. You guys are Cat Girl fans. Oh, we're going to play Fast Fusion. I'm definitely going to pick it up. For $15, guy, how can I not pick that up? How can I not? That's going to be... No, we're going to pick it up. We're going to try it out. We're going to try Fast Fusion. Don't worry. No worries whatsoever. Link's Awakening was in second place, dude. Not no Link. Okay? Okie doke. So I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to start the new Switch games for this week. By the way, we have 10 games to look at. So we have actually a decently packed new Switch game week, which is very odd for like this part of the life cycle, to be totally honest. Hold on, let's see if I can do this. There we go. That fixes everything. So give me just a moment. Like I said, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to do the new Switch games for this week. Okay, we're back. It's 1:12 a.m. here as well, Rodrigo. But yeah. Okay. I'm going to finish off my beer, then we're going to get this started for the new Switch games. Now, just in case anyone is new here for this section of the video, I will do like a fake little intro because this part of the stream becomes a video on the main channel tomorrow. Okay? So we're going to do a like fake little intro for the video. Then we're going to jump into the games one after the other. Now we're ready. This is the part where we get ignored. I usually catch up on the chat as soon as it's over, guys. And I often include little remarks to your guys' comments in there. I just have to keep it flowing so that we don't go too overboard on like the chit chat. He's nervous already. Guys, zero nerves. This is my nerve killer. Like we went through the 1 liter of beer. I'm pretty good now. Now you guys are going to try to mess me up in the intro, aren't you? So, F you guys. Hey everyone, and welcome back. So it's time for the new Nintendo Switch games for this week. And you know what? Even though we're late in the Switch's life cycle, I've got 10 great games lined up for this week that just might be a really good last-minute pickup before the Switch one ends its... Oh my god. F you, Frenchie Mom. Ah! I was so freaking close. Frenchie Mom sent 5 Maple Syrup Gaming and Tech memberships. Thank you so much, nonetheless, though. You know, it was a F you with love. F you with love. Oh, dude. So welcome, Neo Noir, Stella Rhyme, Wiznu Wardana, Steel City 74, Wolf Mob 13. Welcome, guys, to the channel supporters. We're almost there. We're almost there. One left, I think. Or is it going in reverse order? If it... Oh, it's like a random order. It's like not going in any order whatsoever. So we're at number 4 or 5 now. I think we're good now. No. Wolf Mob. I was not nervous whatsoever. I was doing great. I was just trying to beat Frenchie Mom because I knew I was betting she was gonna try it. Okay, now it's time to get back to it. So hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the new Nintendo Switch games for this week. And we've got a lineup of 10 great games coming out this week, and it's really great to see so late in the Switch's life cycle. So now, don't forget, if you are liking the video, to hit that like button. But without further ado, let's jump into the games. There you go. Ooh. And I think that one was even better than the first one. I was repeating like too much, like end of the Switch life cycle, end of the Switch, like blah, blah, blah. That one was flowed way better than the first one. So actually, thank you, Frenchie Mom. You killed me so that I could come back stronger and better. Ready to take on the world. So our first game for this week, guys. I'm going to make myself smaller. I'm a little big. Not going to lie. And I know that sounds weird. That's what she said. Okay. So our first game for this week, and by the way, we always go in chronological order, is a game that is releasing on... Oh, I don't have my list up. Oh, god damn it. My bad, guys. We're going to have to restart this one. Just because I don't have my price list up. Obviously, I can't memorize like all the prices by heart. So we're going to start with our first game for this week, and it's a game that's releasing on May 6th. By the way, we always go in chronological order of the game's release dates, and the game is High on Life that is going to be selling for $39.99. Now, this game is a really original first-person shooter where you actually play a space bounty hunter who has weapons that actually talk to you. Honestly, visually, this game looks stunning. I'm really wondering how it's going to be running on the Switch. Like, to be honest, when I looked at the trailer, it almost felt like a Switch 2 game already. Hopefully, the performance is going to hold up. And if it does, I think we might have a really fun and original shooter game on the Switch with a really original, like, premise behind it. So let's take a look at the trailer. You'll see what I'm talking about. It is a game that seems very interesting for this week and is probably top on my list nonetheless. Like I said, visually, I'm worried a bit. Like performance-wise on the Switch, I am worried. I think it has nudity because the aliens aren't wearing pants. Like the graphics don't look super polished because probably this is a Switch 1 version, but at the same time, I do think that this game could be super polished on Switch 2 at 60 FPS. On Nintendo Switch, it's most likely going to be one of those 30 FPS games. It's probably going to be a fun experience nonetheless, but I definitely think you should wait for a performance review on this one. If the performance holds up, I think we're going to have a great game on our hands. And the $40 price tag for the quality of gameplay that we see here could also make a ton of sense. So that was our first game for this week, High on Life, releasing on May 6th. We're starting strong. I think that is one of the big games for this week. Now next, we have a game that, to be totally honest, had not heard about whatsoever. And I find it weird because when I looked at the trailer, I was like, how did I never hear about this game before? And the game is called Captain Blood. It's also releasing on May 6th, and this game is going to be selling for $24.99. Now, when we look at the game, the vibes I'm getting from this one is old school Prince of Persia. I'm talking PS2 Prince of Persia, like Warrior Within Prince of Persia. At the same time, there seems to be a huge emphasis on humor in this game, and basically you're playing as a pirate captain in a 3D action game. So let's take a look at the trailer. I am on the fence about this one because it looks extremely interesting, and if it plays well, it could actually be a really great hit for this week. Let's take a look here.
World premiere. Sort of. England and Spain are at war. There are also pirates who kidnap their lord's daughter who needs rescue. Blah, blah, blah.
1,000 gold coins for her safe return.
Like I said, it seems to be leaning on those old school 3D action
Do it
games.
for good. Who knew that rescuing her would release a whole shipload of trouble? Embark on an epic adventure where you can learn new languages, make friends, play with toy ships. Is this the right script? In a historically accurate cannon-firing, pistol-shooting, bare-knuckle beat-down pirate game that was lost at sea for years. Captain Blood. Oh, and a villain who drinks green stuff to gain ass-kicking power. Oh,
So there we have it. Like I said, it really feels like an old school 3D action game. I even would say like it feels like old school Prince of Persia or Darksiders. If you play Darksiders, I get like those type of vibes here, and I really enjoy those games. So I do think that we could maybe have something really fun. Once again, this is a multi-console release, so I am worried a bit about the performance on the Switch. And I'm sorry, it's going to come up a few times this week, but unfortunately, we're sort of at that period in the Switch's life cycle right at the end where some of these games, I think, are a stretch for the console. But nonetheless, keep an eye out for Captain Blood. If you're a fan of those old school 3D action games, I think this one could be a really fun pickup for the week if the performance manages to hold up. Next, we're going to be moving on to... we're actually sticking with May 6th. We have one last game for May 6th, and that is going to be Stratogun. Now, this one is more of a budget release, selling for $10.99, and it is an arcade-style shooter game, but one with a very original gameplay style where you're playing around a globe. And I'll be honest, the trailer will speak for itself here. If you're a fan of arcade gameplay, you will immediately be attracted to this one, especially if you're a shoot 'em up fan. This one definitely has a very interesting visual art style. Very fast and what looks to be smooth and interesting gameplay. And on top of it, it has a really original gameplay premise that we haven't seen before. So keep an eye out for this one. Let's take a look at the trailer. And the whole time I was watching this, I was getting Virtual Boy vibes. If you had a Virtual Boy back in the day with the like red outline games, there's no way this game doesn't somehow like tickle those memories. Like I said, the premise of playing around this globe really is what I think is going to sell this game to an arcade fan. Yeah, I could see this game having a VR mode as well. I see people in the chat saying no one had a Virtual Boy. I had a Virtual Boy. I unfortunately burned my eyes out. Stratogun. So like I said, May 6th, arcade fans, keep an eye out for this one. $10.99. It's hard to say no for this one. It looks nuts. It looks fun. I would warn, however, it seems frantic and fast-paced. So if you're not used to shoot 'em ups, be careful. This one might have a quite steep learning curve. Let's jump into our next game because we have 10 games to look at for this week. And our next one is going to be Dunk Dunk, which is releasing on May 8th. It's going to be selling for $14.99. But guess what? This one has a free playable demo. And you know what? If I have a little time this week, we might play this demo online. Why? Because this is like a fusion between Smash Brothers and basketball, using characters from the Playtonic franchise. So you don't see it in this particular trailer, I believe, but they're gonna be eventually integrating characters from the different Playtonic franchises. So like Ukulele, oh my god, what are the old there's 2-3 other very well-known franchises from Playtonic that they're going to be integrating characters for. It looks interesting enough that if you are looking for a multiplayer game, I think it's worth trying out the free demo. And like I said, I will try to be trying out this week. So let's take a look at the trailer and you'll see what the game is all about. It really is like a fusion of Smash Brothers meets basketball.
Oh, we got a challenge. Dunk with your friends. Control. Ooh, that is a great technique. Ooh, now that one gotta hurt. Shoot. Dunk. Dunk. Oh, dunk. Ooh. Block. Deflection. Stretch. Woo-hoo-hoo. Dunk. Oh my goodness. Dunk. Swag station.
I'm not too sure about the visual style. I'll be totally honest with you, and I'm really interested in seeing how the Playtonic characters are actually going to translate to this visual style.
Dunk, dunk. Coming soon.
But honestly, if you're looking for a multiplayer game, this one could be interesting. And the fact that it's only $15 also has me maybe sold on the fact that they do want to try and make this game popular enough that people are willing to pick it up. Exactly. This is a game for friends and family. I don't see this being a online competitive game, but it might be one of those fun multiplayer games to play with friends and family. So Dunk Dunk, $15, May 8th. Could be a very interesting game for this week. Next, we move on to Mirage Ignis Fatuus. That is also releasing on May 8th. This game, however, is going to be selling for $19.99. It currently has a pre-order discount, dropping it to $16.99. Now, This game is a puzzle platformer game, but with a very original gameplay style of switching perspectives. Reference games that I would use for this one is something like Fez, but done in a very different fashion. And I wouldn't necessarily put it on the pedestal like Fez, because for me, Fez is a perspective game done like in an excellent, excellent fashion. This one, we'll have to see how it plays out. And I'm going to tell you guys, don't judge the game on like the first 15 to 20 seconds of the trailer. Because at first when I looked at it, I thought it looked like a cheap mobile game. But as the trailer moved on, you're going to see that the gameplay gets better and better, because you'll see the perspective shifts that really are the incredibly interesting part of the gameplay here. So let's take a look at the trailer and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like I said, keep an open mind. Do not judge it by the first like 15 seconds, because they start out very simple and then they start showing you the more complex perspectives of the gameplay. So you see this part, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be bad. Then I'm like, oh, what was that? Now they show you. Do you guys see how they're playing? Is that if the perspective makes it look like the terrain is beside you, the block can actually make it. Look how crazy it is. So I don't know if you see what I said, is that I used Fez as a comparative, not because the gameplay is exactly like Fez, but it's because it's one of those games that plays on perspective. And the move set here, although the gameplay seems extremely simple, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be one of those insane puzzle games that once you get into them are going to become extremely addictive. Why? Because it's that perfect fusion of extremely simple gameplay, but with a really incredibly out there idea that is going to mesh extremely well. Now, the price tag is high. $20, however, on this is a bit high. I would say that this is going to be a fun game to pick up when it hits the $10 mark on sale. But if you're really dying for a puzzle game for this week, I mean, it's not a crazy price either. It just does feel like a little bit on the expensive side for this type of game, especially in an unknown franchise trying to make its mark. But overall, this one still managed to capture my attention for this week, so I would have it a consideration if you are a puzzle fan. Next, we're going to be going into one of our favorite genres, the Metroidvania, with Wings of Endless, that is also releasing on May 8th. However, this one will be selling for $12.99. Now, this is a pixel art Metroidvania. Honestly, the pixel art in the game looks gorgeous. And I just might have a review code for this one. I'm embargoed, so I can't really speak directly about the gameplay, but I would say that it is one to keep on your radar, especially because of its pretty budget $13 price point. So if you're looking for an interesting Metroidvania, maybe not groundbreaking or stellar, but something that will offer a decent experience with some beautiful pixel art, this game could be a definite consideration for this week. Let's take a look at the trailer and see what this game looks like. I've got to say the game looks better in handheld, from what I've seen. It still looks good in dock, but it looks better in handheld. Yeah, the pixel art is very high grade for the price that they're selling this game. So if I'm judging myself off of the trailer, I would say that this looks like one of those solid Metroidvanias that, like I said, won't necessarily break any new ground, but will offer a decent experience for the sales price of $12.99. However, obviously, if you're looking at the best Metroidvania on the platform and you haven't played something like Yoku's Island Express that is $2 right now, obviously, I would definitely say maybe look at those games first. But if you're looking for something fresh and new for this week, I don't think you can really go wrong with this one either. We're going to talk more about it when I can actually go into the details. There are some things that I would like to say to watch out for that are maybe weaker points, but nothing groundbreaking so far. Okay, moving on to our next game. We are still on May 8th, and we're going to be looking at The Abandoned Planet. Now, this is a pixel art point-and-click game. Now, once again, gorgeous pixel art. Gorgeous, beautiful pixel art. Personally, I'm not into this point-and-click games. However, it's one of those games that I really can't wait to try out with the mouse on the Nintendo Switch 2. So hopefully this game will be compatible, as will most other point-and-click games. But you're going to see, this one came out on Steam and other platforms before. From what I've seen, it's very well reviewed on other platforms. So that, mixed with the beautiful pixel art in it, tells me that if you're into the point-and-click style, this game could be a definite consideration for this week. It is selling for $14.99, which also places it at a very competitive price in the genre. So let's take a look at the game and see what it looks like. It seems like one of those classic point-and-click puzzle games. Like I said, the pixel art here is actually really impressive. Like I think they're using a great use of colors, especially that most of the colors are like ground tones and normally would feel muted, but where they're used in this particular game, actually I find makes them stand out. So there we have The Abandoned Planet. It's pretty rare that I put point and clicks on these lists. Like, the game has to really have something special to capture me. This one managed to do it. On top of it, like I said, $14.99 is a very competitive price for this type of game. Question is, how long is it? Is there some replayability? Those are questions I can't answer for the moment, and will probably make the whole difference of whether it's a decent offering for this week or a top-notch one. Now, to round off May 8th, we have one last game, which is going to be Chaos Galaxy. This one is going to be selling for $19.99, and this is a strategy game. However, it is really a, how can I put this? A global strategy game, so it's really about controlling a whole army and a whole campaign. It looks extremely interesting. Once again, beautiful pixel art. A lot of factions to choose from, so there's probably also going to be a very high replayability here. But overall, let's take a look and you'll see what we're talking about. This one really, the trailer speaks for itself, in my opinion. Like, it almost gives me like Mech Warrior vibes, but from a strategy perspective. Like, the different clans and things throughout the galaxy and throughout space give me a Mech Warrior vibe, but done as like a strategy game. Or Gundam. That looks like a Death Star. The fact that also there seems to be a pretty deep narrative, like they're saying, but a lot of games will tell you a complex, deep narrative. Question is it actually that complex and deep? But it looks interesting enough for me for this week that it definitely could be worth a pickup. And at $20 for the genre, it's also one of those games that is, once again, I would say fairly priced. Maybe it would be more aggressive at the $15 mark, given that it's an unknown IP. However, at the same time, something tells me that it's going to offer a good and decent experience overall if you're looking for a turn-based strategy game for this week. So Chaos Galaxy, releasing May 8th. Another game to look out for this week. Now, we're going to get to probably one of the games that has me most excited, Spirit Fall, which is releasing on May 9th, and this game will also be selling for $19.99. Now, this game is a 2D action roguelike platformer, and they're calling it a combat platformer in some trailers and whatnot, and some of the marketing material, because it seems to be very heavily combo focused for the gameplay. And this one has me extremely interested both on the visual perspective and the gameplay perspective. And I'll be honest, if there's one game that I can play for this week, this would be the game I would want to try. Now, I can't guarantee you it's going to be an excellent game because I haven't played it yet, but it definitely looks like a stellar game. Let's take a look at the trailer and you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's a platform fighter roguelite. Like, obviously all action roguelikes has a focus on combat, but this one seems to have a real focus on like a wide variety of combat. Because if you look at each one of these scenes, there seems to be different weapons used, different combos, different combinations of abilities. The only downside is the trailer is freaking short. And I tried to find longer trailers, but all the trailers are about this length and don't really give us much more of a view. So let's watch it once more because, like I said, this one's worth it. It looks amazing. The good news too is that I think the art style is going to actually work for the Switch. So I'm, as usual, performance is always going to be one of the big question marks. But the art style that they're using here could actually work very well in the Switch's favor, as the Switch generally deals with this type of artwork pretty well. It's a flat 2D perspective, and the sprites seem to be hand-drawn sprites rather than like polygonal or like, animated sprites. Not animated sprites, I meant like basically polygonal or rendered sprites. Overall, Spirit Fall coming to the Switch on May 9th. This one has me extremely excited. I do think that this one would be also an excellent one to stream. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a review code before it releases on May 9th. Now, our last game for this week is another puzzle game that has me quite intrigued. This one is releasing on May 11th. It's very weird for a game to be releasing on the weekend, but it is releasing on May 11th. It has a regular sales price of only $7.60, but it does have a pre-release discount currently, dropping it to $5.32. And it really feels like a very casual, laid back puzzle game. But it also seems like it has some very interesting gameplay, and it comes from a developer that does make some pretty interesting games, always releasing at very budget price points, where they're maybe not groundbreaking games, but for the price that you invest in them, they generally deliver a fun, unique experience. Let's take a look at the trailer. It's called Linnea, an Inner Light game. By the way, if any of the trailers get muted, the full links will be down below in the description of the video. It is simply because the music could be sometimes copyrighted. Once again, the trailer is extremely short, but it managed to grip me. We're going to look at it once again. So you seem to be controlling like these spiritual, like floating lights. You hit different things and it activates like their patterns. My question is, how do you actually control them during the patterns? Are you setting up the locks ahead of time and whatnot? But at $560, based on the developer's history and the awesome look of the trailer, this would be my long shot for this week. So if you're willing to take a chance on a budget game that might just be a really hidden gem on the Switch, my money would be on Linnea, an Inner Light game for this week. So that is pretty much it for the new Switch releases for this week. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite game for this week? Also, if you think I missed out on any games that should have been on the list, once again, let me know in the comments down below. And on the way out, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and click on the notification bell so you know when all my future content comes out. And as usual, I'll see all of you in my next video. And we are done, baby. Woo! That is tomorrow's video, guys. So all that's left is to cut out the couple of things in the beginning that were like, rough. And then basically add together like the prices and overlays, which I've started doing in the last few weeks. But I think it's worthwhile. I think the overlays are worthwhile just for people that are like taking a glance at the video and maybe not listening to every second of it. It's worthwhile to like have the overlays with the prices, the dates, and stuff. Woo! Today was a long stream. We actually went from 11 to 147. Not a lot of downtime, but honestly, I think I had a lot of fun tonight. I love like chatting with you guys, and I missed it last week. Like obviously we streamed twice. I replaced it with like a gaming stream on Wednesday, but like I said, gaming streams are different. It's not the same vibes. Wait, I was showing video? What are you talking about? Are you trolling me? You could see my video the whole time. You're trolling me, man. All the videos were visible on screen. If not, people would have said it way before that. Way before that. Oh, you weren't watching, you meant. Oh, man. My bad. Oh, yeah, my other channel. Don't forget to check out Maple Serpent Gaming and Maple Serpent Gaming Extra, which is where you get the repeat of the Warp Zone. So tomorrow I'm going to be posting the Warp Zone to the side channel. Don't forget to subscribe there if you aren't already. We have to hit 1,000 subscribers there. If we hit 1,000 subscribers there, I can monetize the side channel. And that is a like semi long-term goal, like a midterm long-term, like a midterm goal of mine, because if we can monetize the side channel, I'm going to start putting all stream replays there. Like even the gaming streams are going to go on the side channel, and it's just going to make everything way better on the two channels. It's going to make things much more streamlined, where people who want to watch the streams, it's going to make things much cleaner for people that like want to watch for people that want to be subscribed to the deal videos but don't want to see the pop-ups for the stream videos, if you get what I mean, because they won't get the notifications for the stream videos and so forth. Obviously, I wish everyone would watch both contents, but I respect the fact that some people want to be just one or the other. And it makes sense. It's just that I need to have them, like, I would need them to be monetized on both sides for me to be able to flip everything to the second channel. Because obviously, from time to time, there are a few gaming streams that really, like, pop off on the channel. So, it is what it is. You got to get me to 100K subs. Guys, I would love that. If we get to 100K subs, you do realize it means that I'm starting to look at full-time. Like, if we get to 100K subs, like, we're way far, okay? But if we get to 100K subs, that means that I start looking at going full-time, and this becomes my job, which means that everything becomes, in my opinion, way, way easier. If you guys remember when I was on vacation and we streamed every day, dude, that was like a dream for a week. I wish I could do that all the time. But it is what it is. So yeah, if you missed part of the Warp Zone, you can catch past episodes. Check it out at Maple Syrup and Gaming and Hot Tub Stream. Definitely, man. Dude, for you guys, I'll wear a bikini. Why not? Why not? Do I have any... Like, I've been wondering on thumbnail assets, like, do I have any Chun-Li? No, I don't have any Chun-Li assets. Man. Wear that blonde Zelda wig? Definitely, guys. For you guys, anything. Blonde Zelda wig, check. But yeah, no, I would... more push-ups for the Washington Capitals. F you, Tatum, man. You're banned. You're banned. No one can talk about the Washington Capitals. Washington Capitals are banned from the stream, man. They eliminated my Canadians. But yeah, we'll do more push-up challenges and stuff like that. Definitely. We will do more in the future. Like, I'm gonna do that on the gaming streams. I didn't do it the last time, simply because, like, I do want to make, like, trying to, like, get donations and things on the channel. Like, I want you to understand, like, when I'm saying I want to get it to a regular vibe, it's that, like, obviously my point isn't just to make the money. It's that, you know, it's a way for me to easily be able to transition towards doing this more often. And if you guys find it funny to have a challenge and that you guys think it's worth it, I mean, awesome. But I don't want it to be every stream either, because I don't want people to feel like they have to donate every stream. You know what I mean? Because I know it puts, like, that sort of pressure on there. So I've decided we will be doing it, but I don't want to do it every stream. Now, if people want to donate other streams where there aren't, like... a goal or whatnot, I mean, that's all up to you. But I at one point I said, hey, I'm going to start doing it every stream. And then I thought about it and I'm like, no, because I don't want it to become about that in a way. Like, you know, I want it to be like, still like, you guys can know you can come and the entertainment is free. Like the most important part is the hanging out part. And, you know, if it becomes my full-time job, it becomes my full-time job. It is what it is. But I don't want you guys to feel pressured to have to do any of that. No, but it's true. Like, if I was just doing this for the money, to be honest, I would just do more hours at my full-time job. Like, I know I make it... I know it's funny, but it's like, it's true. Like... I love doing this, but like right now, hour for hour wise, like if it was just a question of like making money, I just like do more hours at my full-time job. Like, yeah, exactly. We're not doing it for money. We're doing it for a shit ton of money. Exactly. What? That's in a movie, man. Oh, it is. That's it. It is. It's we're not doing it for money. We're doing it for a shit ton of money. Oh man, hold on. We that has to be. Oh yeah, and it's John Candy on top of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here it is.
We're not just doing this for money.
Hold on. Here it is. It's for Bill Pullman and John Candy, man. This is like the insane. Like this is an awesome quote.
We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
Freaking awesome, man. Spaceballs is such a freaking classic, man. It's sad that a lot of people nowadays, like the younger generation, have not seen Spaceballs. Ludicrous speed.
We're not just doing this for
No,
money.
no. I don't want to hit. Hold on. Spaceballs. What is it? Keep firing, assholes. This is one of my favorite scenes.
I know that. What's his name? That is.
Wait, okay, hold on. I'm laughing and that, like, I haven't even seen it yet. I'm already like cracking up. Like, okay, this is a movie. Yeah. So, okay, just context for anyone who hasn't seen Spaceballs before. It is basically like in the 80s. It's one of those like comedies that are poking fun at one of the biggest franchises, which was 80s or 90s, which was Star Wars. So basically, it's a whole movie that sort of copies the storyline of Star Wars 1 of A New Hope, like Star Wars 4, but like back then was Star Wars 1. And basically you have Rick Moranis that plays Dark Helmet, that is basically Darth Vader, but with like a giant ass helmet. And like Rick Moranis is the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like totally unbelievable as a scary, like, you know, like big bad guy. And basically at this point they're trying to shoot at the good guys that are running away. But just as in every Star Wars movies where, like, you know, for some reason stormtroopers can't hit anyone with their fucking laser fire ever. Well, this is like poking fun at that because they're shooting after with the like sort of fake Death Star in this, not Death Star, but the fake Imperial cruiser. They're trying to fire at like the good guys, and like they can't hit them. So like this is Dark Helmet like giving shit to everyone, asking why the heck they can't shoot at the spaceship that's running away. But the scene is super funny. Just, oh man, that is the fucking best ever. Comb the desert. I found shit. Oh man, I'm cracking up. Comb the desert. What are you guys doing? They're combing the desert, sir. Oh my god. Man, oh man, I know this movie by heart. I used to watch it so much as a kid. Comb the desert. Wait, what you found? I found shit. Oh my god, man. Yeah, I have to rewatch this. Nowadays, this would never fly because they gave the black guys like a hair pick. Oh, okay, man. I'm getting a warning from YouTube that they're about to block my stream because I'm playing video that doesn't belong to me. So we're gonna have to stop. Yeah, I can't play it anymore. I just got the warning. And like, just so you guys like, you actually get a warning, like that says that like if you want to plan on keeping, yeah. like just so you guys can know, like here, this is what you actually get a warning. Heads up, we've detected video in your stream belonging to someone else. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. If you plan to continue, please ensure that the content owner has added your channel to their blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no, it happens all, like, it happens a couple of times. Like, honestly, this should be fair use. We're watching, like, 1-minute clips. Like, it does suck, though. Yeah, it's fun. Don't worry. I don't mind. It's just that when I get the warning, I'm like, okay, we've got to chill. Like, we have no choice. We have to chill. But it does just suck that it's like, yeah. And what's funny is, like, these channels have them up on their channel. So I guess movie clips must have, like, they must have, like, a written agreement with the whatnot. You never understood the Prince volume thing as a kid? That's in Spaceballs? Is that... Oh, Prince Valium. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, honestly, me either. Like, I understood it later. Like, dude, okay, I know. Like, it's giving me the warning again, but look, we stopped, dude. There's nothing anymore. I'm being a good boy. Leave me alone. How does YouTube comb the streams? Yeah, YouTube, comb the streams! Comb the streams! Are you being too literal? No, we said comb the streams. Oh my god. But yeah, man, that was fucking... it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, but it's like, at least they give you a warning before they do it. And like, since I'm not posting up the stream on the main channel, it's really not going to affect anything. It's on the side channel. That's the other advantage of posting up the rest of the stream on the side channel, by the way, is that I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. Like, before, it used to, like... Before, when I would do something like watch a few videos like that, I would have to worry about the stream being blocked and blah, blah, blah. And it could lead to a strike if, like, really I put it back up. But since it's on the side channel, I don't really need to give a crap about that anymore. So that's the other advantage. Oh, man, that was good, man. Those laughs were good. If I didn't have this stupid cough that, like, is driving me nuts, it would be even better. But, man... Spaceballs, if you guys have not seen it yet, definitely recommend. Check it out. Spaceballs, you're gonna have a laugh, especially if you know old school. Like, if you know Star Wars, you're gonna be cracked up, like, all throughout the movie. Kill one, marry one, F1, Rachel, Phoebe, and Monica. Well, it's like too easy. It's like, I would marry Monica, I would F Rachel, and I would kill Phoebe. Yeah, marry Monica, F Rachel, and kill Phoebe. That's my answers. Why? Because Monica's going to clean the house and cook for you and not complain about it because she likes doing those things. And she's, like, old school Monica's pretty hot. Rachel is just hot, but, like, she's too high maintenance. Yeah, and Phoebe's annoying. Exactly. I know it's super, like, macho assholey, but yeah, Monica cooks and cleans, so yeah, before plastic surgery, definitely. I were we talking about this, like, on stream last time, where I said, like, Monica used to be such a pretty woman, but the plastic surgery really, like, diminished it. Like, do you remember her in, like, Ace Ventura? She was so hot in Ace Ventura. The first one, Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Like, she was so pretty in that. And even Jennifer Aniston though, like, yeah. And yeah, but we're talking about their characters, like, so not the actresses, but yeah. So like that's why Monica would be like the Mary. It's because like she cooks and cleans, and she's like almost equally hot with Rachel. Yeah, it's because I also find that plastic surgery, even if at the moment you get it, might make you look somewhat better. And to me, it really doesn't. I've talked about it, but let's just imagine you're in a world where you think that instantly after the surgery you look better. I find that nonetheless, long term, when you age, it always ages poorly. Do you know what I mean? Like like I've never really seen someone with plastic surgery where as they age, it doesn't show more and more that they've had plastic surgery, and it makes them look like odd. Okay, can you F off, man? Gen Z with plastic surgery looks like Gen X. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's that like sort of, what's it called? You know when like artificial intelligence like just looks slightly off, something canyon, the uncanny canyon, uncanny canyon. Like I find that like plastic surgery almost gives you like an uncanny canyon, but in the reverse sense, where a person starts looking artificial. Honestly, I wasn't crazy about the cable guy. I never really like, but AI is getting a lot better. I would agree with you, Frenchy Mom. Like AI, like let's say even like a year ago, but I find like in the last few months, like there's AI that can really generate now, and even the eyes start looking right. Like, anyway, it's getting pretty crazy how good AI is getting. And like, yeah, it's, I don't know if you know, but there's like crazy shit now where you can't like generate images of like basically you can't generate like any image of a female character in any type of like even if you say like give me like I wanted to generate a Chun-Li image in a crop top and shorts, and it said like you can't generate sexual images, and I'm like, okay, just don't make her sexual, like just put her in a crop top and like, you know, like shorts and like short shorts. And they're like, oh no, this is it's sexual content. I'm like, holy shit, like that's crazy. But yeah, it's like, I get it if you're like asking for overtly sexual stuff, but like it's like crazy now. Like the big AIs, you can't generate any like female images anymore for games, for anything. Because sometimes I try to like generate a thumbnail, like when there's no good character thumbnail, I try to generate one that fits better with the thumbnail. Dude, we're not playing anything on our stream anymore. I don't know why I'm still getting the warning. Like, it's so freaking annoying. Like, I got it that we got it a few times, but like I don't get why I'm getting it. Like, we haven't watched a clip in like 10-15 minutes. Like, leave me alone. Anyway. Okay, I think we're gonna head out, guys, because it's getting pretty late and things are winding down, and we will see you guys soon. I'm not saying, even though things are really busy with the upcoming wedding, that doesn't mean I'm not going to do occasionally extra streams. It's just, it wasn't as easy as when I was trying to do them like 2-3 times a week, like a few weeks back. But you know, though that will become more the norm, especially once the Switch 2 is out. Like once Switch 2 is out, the wedding will be past because it's like the week after. I'll be able to get back to like a more full like streaming schedule. But I'm still gonna try. If I get some good review codes for this week, I will try nonetheless. What's the more info, man? Okay, I get it. Okay. Anyway, have a great night, guys. Thank you for showing up. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a great one, guys. Warp Zone, yes, is always Monday, my man.